Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Passions Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the soap opera Passions. I am your regular host, LeTara, back today with our almighty crane, Andrew C. Welcome, Andrew. How you feeling today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, LeTara?
I'm angry, but I'm good. Passions really pissed me off this week. But other than that, I'm doing well. I'm so glad to have you on. We met a little bit ago on one of the watch parties, and it was so nice to have you come in and meet everybody on the watch party, and you fit right in, and we're just like so excited to have you as a part of the community now. So welcome.
Thank you. It is such an honor and just a lot of fun being part of the community to enjoy all these really crazy stories about fictional people and raging about them. So
They're real to us.
they sure are.
They're real to us. So, before we get into the episode, first of all, we watched 896 through 900. Yes?
Yes.
Does that sound right?
Oh,
correct?
896 to 890.
Why did I write 900? I'm trying to get through this shit. Actually, as a matter of fact, the other day I saw like 899 or something. I was like, oh man, we're almost at 1,000. It's like, no. I mean, I'm closer to 1,000 than I am to so this was 886, right? Through 890. Yeah. I watched the right episodes. I just wrote the wrong numbers because I'm dying to get through this. Before we get into the episodes, I want to give a shout out to all the patrons over on Patreon. Let me pull up my list. Okay. Thank you to Munashe, Lisa S, Zach, Sid, Sarana, Randall, Hannah, Camelia, Jeanette, Eric, Jamie, Fantasia, Sean S, Larissa, Maria, Lisa A, Jessica Jean, Laura, Karen, Uche, Paige, Casey, Garrinch, Tom Bergeron, Daisy, Shane, Kelly C, Taylor Harris Crane, DJ, Kelly M, Rodo, Lisa R, Acacia, Natalie, Andrew, who's with us today, Andrew C, and Jekyll, Hyde, Jekyll. Thank you all for being patrons over on the Patreon. If you would like to join the Patreon, go over to patreon.com/passionspodcast and sign up for whatever tier you find most agreeable. Also, I just want to give myself a little pat on the back for how smoothly I said all those names today, because the last few weeks has been a struggle, but I actually got them. I got them very well today. I'm not even gonna have to cut that. Y'all may have noticed on the podcast, I have had to edit that particular section every week for the past, 4 weeks, because I've just been fucking it up so badly trying to say all the names. But I'm not even gonna have to edit that. So good for me.
Good job.
So anyway, moving on with the show. Andrew, before we get into the episodes, because Andrew is new here, Andrew's going to give us his origin story, Passion's origin story. So I'm going to let you have the floor. The floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. So, Passions was a show that started when I was in high school. And growing up, like a lot of my favorite TV shows were things like Charmed and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Passions was just something that pretty much everyone talked about and watched. So it was one of those things that I came in about episode 2 or 3, and a lot of like the magic and Shawis at the time was such a amazing story, and it was just told in such a crazy way that I pretty much became addicted. So, you know, being a part of this whole rewatch has been a blast from the past, like a nice walk down memory lane, where I actually get to kind of have those conversations again, like it's new. So I'm
Well,
glad to be a part of it, and I'm glad to be here. So
we are glad to have you here. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, the cross section between people who love Charmed or Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and the people who love Passions, there's like a very clear cross section there, right?
Yeah.
And there's also like the people like me who I've never watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer. However, it is on my list of like I'm of a show that I'm gonna go back and watch for the first time. Because one of my best friends, it's her favorite show, and she's like, "No, you have to
Oh,
watch
LeTara, you have to watch it. I will watch along with you. I actually finished my most recent rewatch of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and much like this show, like the moments where you're raging and absolutely hating a character or absolutely siding with another, it is such a good show.
Yeah, so I am going to watch it. I got a lot of K dramas and Chinese dramas to catch up on. Nah, I'm joking. I mean, I'm not joking. I do have a lot of those to watch right now, but I'm not watching anything besides Passions for the most part. Passions and Bob's Burgers is like all I watch right now. So
Oh, Bob's Burgers, love that too. So,
I love I okay. I'm gonna before we get into Passions, I'm just gonna give a quick plug for Bob's Burgers. I watch Bob's Burgers pretty much every night before bed. Like it's my sleep show, like the show I put on that hugs me to sleep, right? Um, but recently, the other night, because a lot of times I put it on and I just go to sleep because I've watched Bob's Burgers over and over again. I've seen so many
same.
episodes over and over again. So a lot of times I just put it on and I pretty much pass right out. It just lulls me right to sleep. But the other night, I happened to just like stay up and watch it, and I was cracking up so hard. 'Cause I was watching like a season 2 episode, and
Oh, such a good season too.
oh my gosh. And I just was cracking up and I was like, you know what? I have to give Bob's Burgers a real solid, true rewatch where I sit down and actually watch it
Mhm.
and pick up the jokes again. Because and I have been watching it again. It's so fucking funny. It is so funny, but it also
It
has so
really
much
is.
heart and warmth. I just love Bob's Burgers. So if you
Oh.
haven't watched it, highly suggest it. Now we're gonna talk about passions. I just before we got into this shit that's about to piss me off, and before I start yelling and screaming, I wanted to talk about something that actually makes me happy. Sometimes I'm watching passions. I'm like, why do I watch this? Today was one of those days, and we are going to get there because we. And I gave Andrew the choice of if he wanted to start with Shawise or if he wanted to start with Magic, and he chose Shawise. So we've got Shawise, and we did get some Bloom Bloom back. So Eric, you will be happy to
We
hear.
did.
You'll be happy to hear your Bloom Blooms are back, okay? Because Sheridan and Luis got it in this week, and
They
I was
sure
happy
did.
for it. I was. I
Me
was
too.
I wasn't angry until like the last 2 episodes of the week this week. I wasn't like pissed off, I feel like, until then. Because up until that, they were Passions was doing a really good job. I was like, yes, yes, this is how you write a show.
Yes. Oh my goodness. It was such a crazy week because you're so right. It's one of those instances that watching Passions can be a slog sometimes. And
Hmm.
you're just like, why am I watching this show? And you have to fast forward because it's so much of the same and you don't know what day we're on.
Ugh.
And it's just the same old, same old. And this week was like just a gift in a way that like you knew that they were gonna have to rip the rug right from underneath your
Yeah.
feet at some point, and they definitely did that with this storyline.
Yeah, and so we're gonna get into it. I really enjoyed a lot of the episodes this week. I will say, at
Yeah,
first,
same.
it was going so well. Everything was going so well. So let's start with the good. Let's start with the good, I guess. Okay,
Yes.
and then we'll get to the bad. So we pick up this week with I'm gonna start with what's going on with Beth. She's at home, happy as a clam. She's packing for her honeymoon. Her mother is her usual mean-spirited self, telling
Uh,
her Luis is still in love with Sheridan, and you know he's never gonna marry you. And then she's like, "What are you packing for? Where are you doing?" And Beth tells her, "I'm packing for my honeymoon." You know, and Edna says, "Well, you can't go anywhere. You have to stay here and take care of me." And Beth explains, "Don't worry, I've hired a nurse." That is so nice of Beth. That was so
yeah,
nice of
right?
Beth. I was like, you know what? Because she could have just left her there to stew in her own shit. She really could have if Beth was really as bad Edna tries to make her out to be.
100%.
So
You know,
Beth tells her, I hired a nurse, and is like, oh, was that number one nurse? I can't remember what the name of the nursing agency was, but it was like number one nursing help or
nursing.
something like that.
Yeah.
And Edna tells her, oh, they called here to confirm your reservation and I canceled it. Excuse me? Okay, lady.
Right.
Make your own. You've made your own shit filled bed then. How about that? You've made your own pissy bed. If I were Beth, I'd be like, okay, girl, then you're not getting a nurse. I was gonna pay for a nurse for somebody to be here with you, but I'm going on my honeymoon regardless, whether you like it or not.
Right. One of the kind of upsetting things to me is at the beginning of the week, you really kind of side with Beth because there goes her there goes Edna, her mother, who she's taken care of, who, compared to everyone else in Passions, like she's someone who had to make her own wedding dress and
Mm-hmm.
she ruined her fabric and all of this constant teasing and just you're never good enough. And up until this point, she has been her mom's caretaker and all of that. And it just felt really, really bad. But it's hard to side with Beth towards the end of this
It
week.
wasn't that
So
hard to side with her. And when we get there, I'm gonna be honest with you. Beth did something not so great this week.
yeah.
However, I understood the motivation. I did. I rewatching this show is making me think like, am I a crazy person? Because not me. Pretty much siding with Beth at this point, fairly heavily. And Kay and Theresa and Ivy. Honestly, I love these evil bitches. Except they're not evil. Like Beth isn't an evil woman. She's been
Yet.
she's been victimized her entire
Yes.
life. And yes, I
Very much
agree.
so.
Yet we know there are things coming from Beth that honestly it made me wonder this week the way I felt about Beth this week. Because even by the end of the week, I'm still pretty solidly on Beth's side. And I don't agree with her methods, but I do understand where she's coming from and why she did what she did.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder if I'm going to feel any differently as we go forward, right? About Beth. It makes me wonder. I hope I don't. I really hope that there's a piece of goodness left in me that that I won't side with Beth, but I don't know. So anyway, Beth is furious at her mother because she has canceled the reservation for this nurse, saying, I don't need a nurse. She says, you are going to stay right here, little Missy, and take care of your dear, sweet mom. Beth is pissed off at her. So that is clip number 1. That's our first clip today.
Dare you cancel that nurse? What were you thinking?
Oh, God. You don't get it, do you? You really don't get it. I don't need a nurse because you are not going anywhere.
Yes, I am.
No, you are not. You are going to stay right here and you are going to take care of me and you're going to change my sheets and you're going to change my diapers and you're going to get me my breakfast, my lunch, and my dinner and you're going to give me a bath and you're going to clip my nails
No,
for me.
Mother.
Oh, yes, you are.
I'm going on my honeymoon, and there is nothing that you can do about it.
Oh, yes. No, you are not going to leave me here alone with some stupid nurse. You are not.
It's because you're not going to need a nurse, Mother. You're not going to need anyone. Because you're going to be dead.
Okay, so I will say I have like several. I gave Beth a lot of clips this week. Not a lot of clips, but I wanted to give her due this week. And yeah, do I think Beth should kill her mom? No. Of course I don't think Beth should kill her mom. Do I get why Beth feels like she should kill her mom? Yeah. I get why Beth feels like she should kill her mom. Like this hissy fit, that was so nasty, right? No,
Yeah.
you're gonna stay here with me. You have to change my sheets. You have to. She's throwing a complete fit. Now, Beth is coming to. It's clear that Beth is coming to a breaking point. That's what I'm seeing here, right? Like, what did she grab at the end? Was that a knife? What was it? I put a knife that it was a knife in my notes, but I couldn't see it clearly enough to know exactly what she was going to stab her mom with.
Yeah, the quality of the video that I watched wasn't great. I think it was a knife. It was something sharp.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Beth said, it seems like Beth might kill her mom, but she doesn't. That obviously, it's always smoke and mirrors with these two. It's always like Beth, I do think that Beth is a wounded child who wants, and the wounded child in her wants to love her mother, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think Beth wishes that she had a better relationship with her mom. But the realist, the person she is, the human that she is, and the adult that she is, resents her mother like to an extreme extent. Understandably so. I would resent this horrible, horrible woman too. It does make me wonder though why she puts up with Edna. She keeps threatening to send her to a home. She keeps threatening to like harm her. Why not actually follow through at least on the sending her to a home situation, right?
Yeah. The thing about Beth that is kind of difficult for me is that, especially during this time, I was the caretaker for my mom. And
Mm,
so, that kind of resentment or that kind of feeling like things are unfair and all of that are all things that really are part of your experience when you are taking on that role, when you have to parent a parent. And so I think like it's so easy for me to see that perspective. I mean, I know that like this is a soap and everything's going to be exaggerated, but it's so sad because Edna really is like her daughter's number one enemy.
yeah,
Like she actually got you an A1 nurse for at-home care and you canceled it. And her dream of marrying Luis, all you're doing is teasing her. So it's like, come on. You can't help but kind of side with her at this point, you know?
yeah. Beth's very first bully was her mother.
Oh, 100%.
I,
Yeah.
and the person who has been tormenting her entire life is her mother. And the one
Yeah.
person who was supposed to protect her has done nothing but harm her entire life. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I have sympathy for Beth. So sue me. I have sympathy for Beth. So meanwhile, let's talk about what's going on over at the cottage. At the cottage, Gwen comes over, and Sheridan is distraught.
Yeah.
Because Sheridan because Sheridan has made horrible choices. Horrible choices. She's distraught, and they're supposed to have a conversation about like this wedding that is looming, right? But the wedding dress designer shows up with the wedding dress, and they're supposed to do a fitting, and it's a whole thing. Sheridan sees her wedding dress, bursts into tears. Frankly, I would too. That dress was ugly. Sorry, that dress was not cute. I mean, she's Sheridan Crane. Can't we get some Chantilly lace? Can't we get some, like some elegance? Where's the sparkle? It was just a white dress with a drop waist like bodice, and the drop waist once she put it on. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's not her cuz she's a beautiful woman, but the silhouette of that dress did nothing for her except make her
Nothing.
torso look too long. That's it. Um so anyway, the dress, they show up. Sheridan bursts into tears at the sight of her ugly wedding dress. So they send those people off to the mansion. Gwen's like, "Can you go wait for us in the mansion? We'll do the fitting later." And so they flit off to the mansion, leaving Sheridan and Gwen alone. And then Sheridan tells Gwen, "I made a mistake. I can't go through with it. I can't marry Antonio. The only man I can marry is Luis." Yeah, girl. Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
right?
duh. The only
Come
man.
on.
Yes, come on, girl. Oh my gosh. And so then, of all people, Eve shows up.
The doctor of everything.
Eve shows up, and it was like the perfect moment for her to offer a sedative to Sheridan.
You want a sedative, do something to quiet your nerves.
But she doesn't. She should have, but she didn't. No, Eve shows up to check on Antonio. Antonio is not there.
No.
I don't know why, but whatever.
Because he is with the Lopez Fitzgeralds discussing the other storyline that
Oh
happens.
yeah. Oh yeah, because technically it's like Christmas
Yeah.
when we start. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Because I was like, where the hell is Antonio actually? He's usually never more than 3 steps from Sheridan. So
Oh, he's the worst.
he's the absolute worst. You know what's crazy though? He, as much as I hate Antonio, he's not the worst this week.
He's not even that bad this week, which is crazy, and it's because you barely see him.
Yeah, as
He's
long as we
kind
don't
of
see
like
him,
an
he's fine.
afterthought. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's like not even top 3 worst people this week.
Oh, not at all.
No. Okay, so yes, she says she can't marry Antonio. Eve shows up and Sheridan asks, this was so ridiculous. Sheridan's like, Eve, is there any change in Antonio's condition? He's still gonna die, right? Eve's like, yeah, he's still gonna die. And she's like, and telling him the truth would still kill him. And Eve's like, afraid so. Then Gwen looks at this whole conversation was so stupid. Honestly, so much of the writing in this storyline particularly is so convoluted and ridiculous and idiotic. Because Gwen asks her, well, Sheridan, if both of the brothers were healthy, who would you choose? Bitch, who do you think the only reason she's choosing Antonio is because he's sick?
Right? Like, if you had to make a choice between either Luis or Antonio, who are you picking? I think everyone would pick Luis over Antonio.
Everyone would pick Luis over Antonio, but particularly Sheridan, right? Where have you been,
yeah.
Gwen?
It's called Shawis for a reason.
For a reason. Where have you been, Gwen? Talking about if both of the brothers were healthy, who would you choose? What a stupid question. And I'm sorry, Maria, but you know that's a dumb question. Anyway, but this isn't about Gwen. And honestly, I'm actually going to give Gwen some props over Sheridan here, because her next thing is, because Sheridan, of course, says Luis, and then she says, but I have to also consider Beth's feelings. And Gwen questions Beth's motives again. And Gwen has been on Beth's neck as it pertains to like Sheridan and Luis, to be honest.
Oh, she has it out for Beth. It is so wild.
And she's not wrong.
She's not wrong, but it almost feels like it's coming out of left field just by...
Yeah. Well, the reason it feels like it's coming out of left field is because we rarely ever see Gwen and Sheridan together having conversations with each other. Gwen is very rarely featured in this storyline, even though she and Sheridan are allegedly best friends. And so it does feel like it's coming out of left field, is because it's like, girl, you haven't even been here or around. What do you know about it? But she's absolutely right.
You know, like, out of all of the best friends, especially in rewatching it now, I forget that they were friends or like they're that close. Like, to me, it's always like the first one is always what's her name? Whitney and
Theresa. Yes,
Sorry.
Whitney and Theresa are like the best of friends. And they are truly best friends.
And they really are. Like, it kind of shows in the show, like, throughout, and like especially at the end of the week when we finally get like them, like, they always feel like they have a real friendship. But everyone else who is like best friends,
Agreed.
This is one of the ones that I never think about.
Yeah, Theresa and Whitney tend to have legitimate friendship conversations. Whereas
And arguments, and they support each other.
Yeah, they're arguing, but they also support each other, and they're also like looking out for each other's best interests. And whereas, for instance, with Gwen and Sheridan, they only bring Gwen in moments like these, right? We never see them being friends to each other in any other capacity, or in we don't see, like, a lot of times you'll see Theresa and Whitney like at the book cafe together,
Right.
you know what I mean? Just out doing girlfriend stuff. And yeah, the other best friends, like Simone and Kay, is as
They're
quote best
frenemies.
friends, is insane. Yeah.
I think she's better friends with Jessica than she is with Kay,
Yeah, for sure.
especially this week.
And
You know?
honestly, I had so much rage for so many other people that I really didn't have the capacity to like be too angry at Simone, but she did annoy me. She
Don't
annoys
worry,
me.
we'll get into it when we get to them because,
Yeah. She's so annoying. So,
Yeah.
and such a hypocrite, but whatever.
Well, yeah, right.
And Kay should, because Kay called she called Charity a hypocrite. We will get there, but she should use that word on Simone.
She should.
Yeah. So, anyway, Gwen questions Beth's motives, right? Saying like, it's odd to me that Beth has been so kind and generous about this whole situation between you and Luis. And she says it doesn't add up that Beth would continue to be friends with Sheridan and champion her relationship with Luis.
Because what she mentions is she lost out to Sheridan twice. And she's that nice. And it's like, yeah, Gwen has a point. Gwen truly has a point there.
Well, Gwen has a point because Gwen has kind of lived what Beth has lived. And so she's like, she doesn't necessarily have to put herself in Beth's shoes. She walked in those shoes, kind of, right? And so she knows how she feels about Theresa. She knows how and the way she feels about Theresa is perfectly reasonable and legitimate, right? And so to her, she's like, any woman who would be that kind and that generous, it's got to be a fake. It's got to be fake. And I tend to obviously agree with Gwen on this. Sheridan blows it off. She says that Beth is basically a nice person and doesn't have a mean bone in her body. Cut to Beth attacking her mother with that knife. Because she does attack her.
Yes.
And I didn't take a clip of that. I don't find any of that funny. I'm sorry. I don't find it. I think it's supposed to be, I don't know what it's supposed to. I'm really not sure what Passions wants us to take from these scenes. I guess that Beth is like unhinged and that she's like this horrible, horrible woman, but she's been pushed to the brink.
Yeah, the way that I saw it, and especially like what goes on with Beth this week, is this idealized version of what she thinks like she's gonna finally have Luis. She understands now that it's kind of slipping through her fingers that she's not gonna be with him. And everything that her mom is saying and doing, there is just adding fuel to that fire that she kind of comes to a breaking point later on in the week. So yeah.
Okay, so Beth has attacked her mother. Meanwhile, Sheridan saying Beth doesn't have a mean bone in her body. So at this point, Eve chimes in on this conversation and tells her to follow her heart. I thought that was so funny. I also have that clip because Eve of all people, like, she really is Dr. Death. She really is.
She's a doctor of everything and nothing all the same.
That's exactly right. She's a doctor of everything and nothing all at one time.
Sheridan, as Antonio's doctor, I'm, of course, concerned with the precarious state of his health. But I'm a woman, too, and I understand exactly what you're going through. And I think that you should just follow your heart.
You do?
Yeah, nothing is going to take the place of a woman being with the man that she loves. I don't think you should let anyone or anything keep you from being with Luis.
Eva's right. Look, we all know Antonio loves you. What do you think he would say if he knew the truth?
Don't you think that he would tell you to follow your heart?
He just wants you to be happy. I don't know. I I just need time to think. I need time to talk to Antonio or Luis. I just need to figure this whole ordeal out.
Thank you. Thank you both
So much for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, so I took that clip just because I honestly, I thought it was fucking funny. I think it's hilarious that, and also egregious, that Eve has been pressuring Sheridan for months to stay with Antonio and to not like make his situation worse, right? Like she's been guilting her, telling her like, yeah, if you tell him, he will die. Like he's gonna die. And then the day before the wedding, she's like, as a woman, you should follow your heart. Girl, what? Why didn't you tell her that months ago? Months ago. Or even like when they got engaged, like, or, well, I guess they got engaged on the island, didn't they? That was dumb. But I just thought it was so funny. What a 180 coming from Dr. Death. What a 180.
Yeah.
It's like she's ready for him to die. It's like she's like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm ready for him to finally drop dead. So yeah, Sheridan, follow your heart. That's what it feels like to me. And I just thought I just think it's funny. Eve's a terrible doctor.
Yeah, I mean the whole motivation is you don't want him to die of shock, and you would rather be miserable and continue this farce and continue to lie to this man, and it's just it's tough. It's really tough.
Oh yeah. Well, it gets tougher. So
Oh yeah.
oh, it gets so much dumber. It gets so much dumber. So Sheridan leaves, and then Antonio shows up, and he tells Eve that she has to keep him alive until he marries Sheridan so that his life will be complete. And also we find out that the wedding is tomorrow. This is when I realized, I was like, oh, okay, the wedding's tomorrow. Yeah. It's New Year's Eve. Or it's the day before New Year's Eve because their wedding is on New Year's Eve, I believe. Mm-hmm. I believe. Yeah. So anyway.
Well, you know what's funny about this whole scene? I was so angry when that came, when that scene what was happening, that in my notes I wrote, "How will Antonio's life be complete if he marries Sheridan?" Like I don't understand, and
he's not a fucking human. He's not a full. He's not a person. Because he's not a person, right? Like he's just an obstacle, as Hannah has said multiple times in the Discord. Antonio is not, they have not written a human here. They have not written a person here. They've only written an obstacle to Sheridan and Luis. And therefore, yeah, his objective is to marry Sheridan and ruin Sheridan's life. And once he completes his objective, his life will be complete and he can die, right? So,
and to add insult to injury, like once he is out of the room, she pulls out like a picture of her and Luis, and it's like, come on, girl, come on, just come on, please. We're rooting for you. We're all rooting for you.
We're all rooting for you. Never in my life have I yelled at a girl like this. Listen, that's how I feel. That's how I feel truly. As oh my God, I'm just gonna do that speech later. I need to find the Tyra Banks speech so we can put it in the podcast today, because later on we were all rooting for you. My God. Okay, so Sheridan leaves, Antonio shows up, blah blah blah. Then over at the Lopez Fitzgerald's new home, the new digs, Luis is sulking, right? And he's like, I'm going to have to marry Beth. I'm going to have to watch the love of my life marry somebody else. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have to marry Beth. That's up to you entirely. But he sulks, and then he goes and gets in the shower, okay? He's like, I'm just going to go take a shower. And when Sheridan left, she went to Luis's house and she gets in the shower with him, and we get a little so yep. I actually did take this clip because I'm gonna tell you this, we have been starving for this, right? Like it's I have been dying for these two people to really get back together. I have. And yes, I know where this is going, but I still have hope, you know? It's kind of like, have you
LeTara,
ever... Oh, what?
the moment that Bloom Bloom music came on, I jumped out of my seat and I was like, they better not be doing a daydream. This better not be a fantasy.
Yeah, me too.
This better be real. I can't. I just need Shawise to be together. I was like, please just give this gift to me because come on. Like they're
I
they're they're kind of iconic and like they
Yeah,
just have such chemistry
they
and
do.
you're craving it. You just want to see them together and you're like, you got to give this to me. Just please give it to us.
I also had the thought, like, this better not be a fantasy. But it wasn't, y'all. And I was so glad that it was not. And the name of this clip is Bloom Bloom. All right. So here's our Bloom Bloom clip. Enjoy. I could not take this clip. I just couldn't. I mean, naked Luis, I could not do it. Enjoy, everyone. If you're not watching, you want to watch.
Sheridan, what are you doing there?
Come back to you. I'll come back to you forever.
Oh, there's more.
Look up to me, Luis. Look up to me now.
God, I love you.
Luis, I love you so much.
All right. And they continue. They continue for some time.
They sure do.
Making love. Honestly, it was a high point for me this week. I really enjoyed them together again. It was like I breathed a little bit of a sigh of relief, like, oh, good, finally. You know, it's been very frustrating to watch these two people, particularly Sheridan, who's so tied up in knots about this looming wedding, right? And it was nice to see her finally make that choice, make the decision, and say, you know what? I got to do what I got to do. I need to be with a man that I love. I can't go through with this wedding. It was like, yes, oh, finally. Yeah, you know, yes, it took her forever to get there, but at least she got there, right? I was like, yes, finally. Thank you, girl. Thank you. And things only.
I mean, I think at this point in time, I feel like everyone let out a huge sigh of relief. Like it was like, oh, yeah, all is right. All is right in the world of harmony with those two getting together. And it's really sweet and it's really nice to see them together because out of all of the couples, you know, those two really have this spark. And so I think for a lot of Passions fans, like you're always kind of rooting for them to kind of end up together. And so
100%.
it is so nice when you actually get to see them together because their chemistry truly it is so electrifying.
Yeah.
It just, you really feel like these are two characters who are in love.
They seem like two people who love each other, really.
Yeah.
Like, I agree that their chemistry is unbelievable. And I mean, they also are just two incredibly good looking people. And even in the horrible
Doesn't hurt.
quality that we have to watch it in, I'm still like, damn, y'all are hot, you know? And I love to watch two beautiful people go at it a little bit. I'm just a human person. What can I say?
So I like to call that I'd watch that tape. So that's I'd watch that tape kind of.
I'd watch that tape. I did watch that tape. I watched it twice.
We watched that tape.
Yeah.
We totally did watch that tape.
Yeah. So they make love, and Beth happens to come over. She's happy. Y'all, she's happy because tomorrow is her wedding day.
Yep.
Tomorrow is her wedding day. She's getting married in the morning. No, she's not.
No.
I mean, once she sees this, but she actually, Beth's getting married come hell or high water. She's like, I'm getting married to Luis. I don't give a fuck. So yeah, she comes over, and she happens to see them through Luis's bedroom window. It's like, close the curtains. The people in this town not closing the blinds or not closing the curtains drives me insane. Insane.
Yeah. So
she's standing outside. She sees them making love, and she also overhears them. I want to be clear. I've gone back and forth on the podcast a few times of whether people on this show can hear what's going on inside of a room when they're outside listening through the window or looking through the window, because sometimes they can and sometimes they can't, and that really upsets me. I feel like Passion should set a rule for the world that either yes, they can be heard, or no, they can't. But there is no solid rule. This time, Beth can hear them. So
she totally hears them.
Yeah. They were loud. No, this time, Beth, you ever seen Avenue Q?
Yes.
You know the song, you can be as loud as the hell you want when you're making love. Yeah, that's my shit. So that's what that made me think of. They're loud, and they can be as loud as the hell they want, says Gary Coleman. So yes, Beth sees them through the window. And like I said, y'all, I'm giving Beth her spotlight this week. So here's another clip. We got back to back clips. I got a lot of clips this week. All right, here we go.
Luis's room.
Okay, it's not the best clip, but it goes on.
No, this can't be happening. I won't let it.
Okay, I just wanted to share that because that is the beginning of Beth truly snapping. Like that is where the switch flipped for her, I think. Like, Beth's been doing some kind of, shady things, but in the scheme of Passions, it's basically around the same level as a lot of the other ladies have been doing, right? However, this is when Beth actually snaps. Okay, so things are about to go way downhill. But like I said, I just wanted to give Beth a little highlight in these moments because she deserves for us to acknowledge that she's not wrong. She's not wrong.
She's not wrong. And the crazy thing is, up until this moment, like, you can really side with Beth because she is kind of a character that you feel for. But as soon as she gets home and she gets into it with her mom, you get to see the crazy eyes. And the moment that you see the crazy eyes, you know that crazy Beth has made an appearance and she is not going to leave.
Beth has officially snapped. So I have her full snapping later, but let's talk about what happens with Sheridan and Luis because post coitus they have a little conversation, and this is where things start to, for me, unravel, right? This is where things where I started to go like, I don't like what I'm hearing. I'm not liking this. So, they start, they say, I love you so much. And, just exchanging run-of-the-mill pillow talk. Then then Luis says to Sheridan, how can we do this to my brother and to Beth? I mean, you're supposed to marry Antonio tomorrow, and I'm all set to marry Beth. I don't want to hurt her. Well, you shouldn't have put your dick in Sheridan. Huh? Shouldn't have done that. Should not have done that. And this is the second time that he's actually cheated on Beth with Sheridan, right? This is the second time this is a full-blown betrayal. And this is the second time he's done that. Now, the first time I could give him a little bit of a pass on it because Sheridan was dead and came back from the dead. And he forgot about Beth. And it's like, of course you forgot about Beth. Sheridan was dead and now she's not, right? This time, no. You should have been like, oh, this is wrong. Let's have can we talk first? Let's have a conversation. But he can't resist her titties. So,
I mean, let's not forget the first time Sheridan reversed that amnesia.
Yeah.
So
she gave herself reverse amnesia at the mere sight of Luis. And so again, it was like that was huge. That was a big moment, and it made sense. And I could forgive Luis for that. Of course, I was like, oh, poor Beth, but also I'm not mad at him for that, right?
He also thought she was dead. So I mean, it was one of those moments. Though I might not agree, I understand.
100% understand. 100. This time, no, you should have. You're getting married tomorrow, sir. Hello. Yeah. So, anyway, he says we can't do this. I don't want to hurt Beth. And Sheridan says, I know you don't. And Luis says, Beth has been amazing. She's so kind and understanding. She's like the nicest person I ever met. And Sheridan says, I know you don't want to hurt Beth and I don't want to hurt Antonio, but we love each other. We're meant to be together. Luis says, yeah, I know. And I've been trying to convince you to tell Antonio that for months now, and you refuse to. And now you changed your mind? And Sheridan says, yes, okay. Yeah, I'm with Luis right there. I've been trying to get you to change your mind for months. Months.
I'm going to add something to this that also just kind of fuels the fire. But there's a caption at the bottom during this conversation that states, tomorrow, Luis and Sheridan plan to elope. And you're like, oh my God, it's finally going to happen. It's finally like, let's just do it already. Please give this to us.
When I tell you I wanted to murder a writer, I said, somebody bring one of these writers to me right now. Let me have just 5 minutes in a room. Just 5 minutes. I'm not going to hurt him, I swear.
Right?
I'm going to hurt him. I'm going to kill him. Like, please. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So these two people are having this conversation. And Luis tells her, I've been trying to get you to do this for months. What has happened now? Now you want to be honest all of a sudden? And he says it's the day before we're supposed to be married to two other people. And Sheridan says, that's why we have to tell them now before it's too late. Before it's too late. I get what she means. Like, after the wedding, it would be too late. But in my opinion, it's already quite late. Maybe it's not exactly too late, but it is. It is right at too late. We're right there at the too late mark. This is ridiculous.
Like, why are you finally making sense? Why are you finally like realizing like you truly love this person, whereas you feel obliged to his brother? Like, you weren't even Sheridan Crane when you met Antonio. So like, what are you doing? Come on.
And actually, that's actually an excellent point, Andrew, that I feel like we haven't talked about enough. The fact that Sheridan, similarly to how I feel about Grace with David, like, girl, you don't even know that man. You don't remember him.
Oh,
I feel
those two.
similarly with Sheridan, except of course she does know Antonio. She remembers him. She has memories of him. However, you weren't yourself. You didn't remember yourself when you decided that you would marry him. So
Right.
I feel like it would have been very, very reasonable and understandable for her to get all these memories flooding back to her and say, "Oh, actually, I'm not Diana. I don't know. That was, first of all, it was fucking weird that I named myself Diana. But but I'm not Diana. I'm actually Sheridan, and like all of that shit that happened on the on the island is null and void, right? Like
Right.
that's not who I am. That's not me.
Because Sheridan and Diana are two different people. Sheridan
Completely.
Crane is like a badass. Like she can fly a plane. She's just like this person who has a strong will. And Diana was like this person who was inept at everything, who
Well,
couldn't do anything.
she was feeble-minded, right?
Yes.
She had a traumatic brain injury. She's feeble-minded,
True.
right? So
Yeah.
like, yeah, I 100% agree. And in this moment particularly too is Sheridan has been very Diana-ish for a while, right? Like this whole thing that she's been
Unfortunately.
doing with Antonio, I feel like that's very like she was clinging to that Diana persona, but that's not who you are. And it's like
Yeah.
this night she kind of woke up and realized, wait a minute, I'm Sheridan motherfucking Crane. What am I doing with this?
Right?
What am I
Right?
doing with this invalid? Like I could have Louise.
Right. You know what? In the story, we're supposed to believe that Alistair is Sheridan's biggest villain, right?
Mhm.
But it's not true. The writers of Passions are Sheridan's biggest
Oh, they her biggest ops. They hate her.
They just
They are
So,
her
yeah.
biggest ops. They absolutely despise her. That is apparent. I mean, she's already died like two times at least. We're headed into a third
Right.
death, right? Like, my God. So anyway, Sheridan and Luis, they're going back and forth, right? Luis is like, you want to do this all of a sudden now. It's too late. Sheridan's like, it doesn't have to be too late. We haven't gotten married to them yet. We could do it tonight. Luis says, so you want to yank the rug out from under them at the last minute. And Sheridan says, it's selfish, I know, but it would be worse to marry Beth and Antonio if we didn't love them the way that they deserve to be loved. And we don't. Okay. Luis says, I love you. I love you so much. And I've been begging you for months. And Sheridan says, I know. But then Sheridan says, if we go through with Mary and Beth and Antonio, it's not going to happen. Oh, sorry. I skipped the line. Luis says to her, tonight was incredible, not just physically, but spiritually as well. And I want to be with you. I want to share the rest of my life with you. And Sheridan says, but if we go through with Mary and Beth and Antonio, that's not going to happen. We'll never be together again. We will never make love ever again. You'll never have this pussy again. So you better go over there and tell Beth you can't marry her. Yeah, I don't know. Luis tells her it's too late. He says, I'm going to marry Beth tomorrow. You're going to marry Antonio. And then Sheridan suggests, what if we get married tonight? This was so stupid. This was so asinine and stupid. She says, what if we should elope? What if we get married tonight? I know a judge who will marry us tonight. We'll be able to get the marriage license tonight. I can use my influence as a Crane and we can get this done tonight, right? Luis initially is like, no. Because that's such an what an absolutely evil fucking thing to do. I mean, evil. And you've spent months being worried that Antonio's gonna drop dead just because you told him that you and Luis used to have a relationship with each other before you met him, and now you don't think that coming to him with his brother married to him on the day that should have been his wedding day would not kill him?
Hey, look, the bloom makes you start thinking rationally and correctly and doing the things that you should have done. So we should have gotten the bloom
long before this. Long before this. But that particularly pissed me off. And I'm not even as angry as I get. I'm not even as angry. I get angrier as this story goes on. But that was the beginning of like, wait, everybody just wait one goddamn minute. What do you mean? Oh, we can fix this by eloping tonight and we'll just get married tonight. And somehow that is going to be better than you just telling Antonio the truth right now, right? Like, I mean, yes, you could have told him months ago, yesterday, last week, the week before that. You could have done this a long time ago. You didn't. Fine. Okay. The past is the past, but we're here in this present moment. And so now you basically have three choices. Choice number one, marry Antonio and Luis marries Beth, and it is what it is. Choice number two, tell Antonio the truth and tell Beth the truth and don't go through with the wedding, cancel the wedding. And yeah, Antonio will be hurt. He might die, but he might take the news a little bit better than you think. Or three, get married tonight to Luis, and then in the morning, presumably at the church where you were supposed to get married to Antonio, drop the news on him that you're actually now married to Luis. What the fuck is wrong? That's evil. That is evil.
It is, but you know what? Like, option two should have been what they did from the beginning, and they didn't. So it's like you're coming up to this ticking deadline where it's tick, 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 we're running out of time. So I think it's like that desperation of let's make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But you're right. It is very evil.
It's evil. And it's one of those things, it's one of those passions-isms, I fear, where Passions writes a character who's supposed to be the good guy, right? Sheridan is ostensibly supposed to be the good guy between her and Beth, right? She's good, Beth is bad. But what Sheridan has just suggested is pure villainy, right? Like what Sheridan has just suggested is absolutely evil, particularly considering the fact that one, she doesn't want Antonio to die. She's been trying to keep him from having a horrible shock all of this time so he won't die. This would be an world-shaking, world-altering, like, confession, right? Like, I married your brother last night when we were supposed to get married today. Would be insane. But also, she is under the impression that Beth has been nothing but kind and generous and lovely to her, right? And championed her relationship with Luis, but it just didn't work out. She is under the impression that Beth, quote, doesn't have a mean bone in her body. You would do that to her too?
Right.
And also she has been telling us over and over again that she loves Antonio. Oh, well, I love Antonio. I do love Antonio. I just don't love him as much as I love Luis, but I do love Antonio. This is not how you show love to someone.
No.
This is not how you show love to someone.
I also think the love that she has for Antonio is more out of obligation, because everything that she says is about, well, you know, I got into this debt and he's this way because of me. And it's like, no, he made that decision. Like, I wouldn't feel too bad, because the truth is, like, you love Luis.
Yeah.
You really love Luis. Antonio is an obligation.
Antonio's an obligation, and I think, actually, let's stay on that point for a moment as well, like, because you make a good point. Yes, I think Sheridan often says, oh, I love Antonio, but she doesn't mean it. She does not love Antonio. If she did love Antonio, she could never come up with a plan like this. This is evil.
Right? Right.
Make no mistake. This is actually, I'm sorry, that is one of the most evil, heinous things I've seen on this show. It is. And again, I'll go back to they try to like write certain characters as the good guys, but this is so bad and horrible. And frankly, it's a scheme. it's a Theresa level scheme. Hello? This is evil, please. Yeah. But I'm supposed to think Sheridan's so wonderful and so good and she's so lovely. No, I'm sorry. No, she's losing me. That's the thing. That's why I said I'm concerned about my eternal soul for where I'm gonna land on Beth. I am. Because Sheridan is really losing me.
Yeah, I could understand why.
This only gets worse. So let's move on. This only gets so much worse. So Sheridan posits the idea that they elope tonight. Luis initially says no, but Sheridan keeps pushing. And then Luis expresses concern about Beth and Antonio, and Sheridan responds, I'm concerned about them too, but what about us? We love each other, mind, body, and soul, and making love to you just now proved that. No, making love to him just now did not just prove anything except for the fact that y'all are horny for each other. That's what that proved. And that you are having second thoughts. That's what that proved. That you've made a bad choice. That's all it really proved.
So you don't think it was like post-nut clarity or anything? It was just...
my mind's never been clear post-nut. Are you kidding? It's the worst time to make a decision. It is the worst possible time to make a decision about like who your lifelong partner is gonna be, right? Like frankly, somebody dicks me down, right? And afterwards, they're like, you want to get married? I might say yes if the sex was fantastic, right? I might be like, yeah, you know what? I think I do love you. But about a week later, I would realize, oh, that was a horrible idea. Horrible idea. So, no, when I say no, my brain's never been more foggy than after I've had wonderful sex, ever. Ever. It's just I'm not clear-headed. I'll spare y'all the detail, the gory details, but I'm not clear-headed. I'm in a state of euphoria almost, right? And so
totally. Yeah. So yeah, 100%. Yeah. So
and that's what's going on here as well. Although
yes,
I do think that they should be together. I want to be clear. I want Sheridan and Luis to get together. I just want them to do it a better way than this.
The right way. Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, I just want them to be better than this because I like them. That's the other thing. I think that's the other thing that's bothering me is I like Sheridan. I like Luis and I want them to be better. And this is bad. This is just bad. It's just bad.
It is.
Yeah. So, she says that making love just proved that they belong together or whatever. And Luis is like, yeah, I never doubted that, Sheridan. But we can't forget Beth and Antonio. They love us, and we can't forget that. And Sheridan says, I know I don't want to see either of them hurt, but Luis, you were right all along. I can't lose you forever because we're worried about Antonio dying or if he finds out about us. Once we're married, we'll go to Antonio. We'll tell him everything as gently as we can, and we'll have Eve there like we planned before, just in case. I don't know. Somehow everything will be okay. And you know what? Good on Luis here because all she's thinking about is Antonio. Luis says,
"Yeah.
What about Beth?
What about Beth?
Yes, Sheridan. What about Beth?" And Sheridan says, I hate the idea of hurting her, but I honestly think Beth would be more hurt if in the long run she were to marry you knowing that you loved me. Oh my God. And she says, I doubt that she'll be hurt she says, I don't doubt that she'll be hurt at first, but she's been so wonderful throughout all of this, so understanding. I'm sure she'll be reasonable. Bitch, please. You can only do this to somebody so much. Even, let's say, I'm going to say this. Even if all of Beth's like gracious activity, or my words are escaping me, but even if all of Beth's graciousness act was real, there's only so much a person can take.
Yeah, there's only so much that you could take, and this now has happened to her twice. And
this will be the third time that Luis left
her. Yeah.
It will be the second time that he left her for Sheridan.
Yep.
And so, yeah, for Sheridan, this is similar to what I've said about Charity, about how she's not thoughtful and she's not actually a considerate person. This is
No.
Sheridan is also not being a considerate. She's not considerate. She doesn't consider Beth's feelings at all. Oh, I'm sure she'll be reasonable. I'm sure she'll be fine. I'm sure.
Yeah,
Listen,
because whether it was intentional or not, a lot of like the characters that we're supposed to see as good, the good is almost toxic in a way that it gets in the way of like actual feelings and actual like if you take a look at what is happening in a rational sense. And Charity is right up there with like what Sheridan is doing
the
right now.
good
So
is toxic. That is
yeah.
the exact perfect way to say it. A lot of times the goodness in this show and the people who are so good that is so actually completely toxic. So
Yeah.
anyway, especially particularly the way they get put up on a pedestal over everybody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's saying, I'm sure Beth will be reasonable about this. Cut to Beth, devastated from what she has
Yes.
seen.
Mhm.
Devastated. So she goes home. Her demon of a mother takes the opportunity to make her feel as bad as she possibly can. And I have a very long clip for Beth. I think it's like 5 minutes. And the aftermath of this, because again, I think Beth is owed her due on this. So this is called Beth Snaps.
We get the crazy eyes. We get Beth with the crazy eyes. I'm so ready.
Oh, do we ever? We get she snapped.
Yeah.
Truly snapped. So enjoy. Actually, I'm enjoying this with Beth, to be honest. Not like
Same.
oh, this is good for her, but like it's good TV in that way.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. In the way that it is very, very good television. And so here we go.
Home so soon? Well, that was quick. Now, what exactly was it that you were trying to prove? Oh, yeah. One that Luis was going to marry you and that he was going to forget about Sheridan. Well, I'm waiting. What happened?
Shut your face!
Whoops. Yep. Smell trouble in paradise here. Okay, what happened? Did Luis give you the boot? The old heave-ho here, huh? Tell me.
Nothing happened!
Yeah, right. Like I believe that. Nope. N-O-P-E. I think you finally got a dose of reality, didn't you? And you finally figured out you're gonna be the old me that I always told you were gonna be. All right, here. Here, take this. This tranquilizer will calm you down.
I don't need a damn tranquilizer!
All right, then give him back. You know, that is unless you're planning to drug Luis into marrying you.
Do you ever shut up?
I wouldn't put it past you.
Okay, that's it. Get out.
What?
Go!
No, Beth. No, Beth.
Yes,
No,
your
please.
room now.
No, I'm not going to go to my room. No, Beth. Don't show me in my room. Now, don't do this, Beth. No. Beth, stop it.
Shut up! No, never.
Let me out of here! Bethy! Let me out of here now!
That's it. Now, where is that thing?
Searching for something in her closet. You're not watching, but you should be watching.
Luis to go behind my back and make love to Sheridan. I'll make them pay for this. Oh, yeah, I will make them pay. Now, where is that damn thing? Luis won't marry me. He's not gonna marry anyone.
And she loads She's loading her tiny gun with bullets.
I can't believe that slut Sheridan went behind my back and seduced Luis the night before our wedding. I will not let her get away with it. No blinking way.
What are you doing with that gun, Beth?
I won't sit back while Sheridan tries to steal Luis away from me again. I have been patient, understanding. I even believed Luis when he said that he'd be faithful to me, and it has gotten me nowhere. I don't care if I have to kill Luis and Sheridan both. They will not be together. No, Luis will marry me, or he won't marry anyone, ever. I don't care if I have to kill them both. I will not be tossed aside.
Who in there? Have you totally lost your mind? You're talking about murder, Beth. Murder! You can spend the rest of your life in prison.
I'd rather go to prison than spend one more dreadful day here with you. Cooking food you don't even eat, clipping your gnarly toenails, changing your wet sheets, washing your nasty, stinking clothes. No, I'd rather get the death penalty than be sentenced to life in this prison here with you.
Wound me, why don't you, huh? You are so selfish. If you go to prison, I will be left here all alone.
I'm selfish. I cannot believe you, Mother.
Well, believe this. You are evil. You are rotten to the core. Oh, you are.
Maybe I should use you for target practice then.
I knew Luis would never choose to marry you over Sheridan. I knew it because she is beautiful and she is kind and
that's enough.
Well, Mother Ruth, you are just too delusional to face the fact. But guess what, Missy? You gotta face it now, so you put down that gun and you get it into that adult brain of yours. The only person you're gonna be spending your life with is me. We are gonna grow old together. Don't you remember, Betty? Don't you remember? We saw it. We saw it in a vision.
I'm gonna marry Luis, and we're gonna have a wonderful life together. Or Luis and Sheridan aren't gonna have any life at all.
I know that's right. And Beth goes out into the night.
Talk about dodging a bullet. Oh, I hope that Sheridan and Luis are as lucky.
Okay, so I think that last, like, because I had to cut several clips together, and I think that last one was sped up because I was watching it at either 1.5 or 2 times speed, because I was like, that's going a little fast, but whatever. Y'all still got it. You get the gist. Yeah, man. First of all, I want to say, what a great scene. I really enjoyed watching Beth snap, right? Like,
Same.
I love to see her just, I don't know, the wild, crazy eyes, and she's frantically searching for that gun and pushing her mom into that room, like, shut up and go in your room. Like, I get it. I get it. Even though I am one of the people who oftentimes, like, when we're talking about this show, because a lot of times they talk in the language of, like, oh, she stole him from me. And I often say, you can't steal a man. The man went willingly, right? You can't steal a man.
Yeah.
However, I will say in this instance, and it's not, I don't think Sheridan has stolen Luis. Luis has always been in love with Sheridan, right?
Yes.
However, in this instance, what I will give to Beth is that Sheridan did go behind her back and slept with her man, right? Like,
yes,
he very blatantly went behind her back and slept with her. And sure, her man also slept with Sheridan, so we should have an issue for Luis too. I do. I already said that.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, I absolutely do. But this is one time where I'm also okay with Beth blaming Sheridan and being like, yeah, that was fucked up. And I'm mad at Sheridan too, because personally, I am a girl's girl typically, right? So
yeah,
if I'm Sheridan, I'm not going to go and sleep with Luis immediately. I'm just going to say, hey, I'm ready. I'll break up with Antonio, you break up with Beth, and then we can be together, right? But I'm a rational human being. And frankly, what Sheridan did was grimy as fuck. It was so grimy and shady, and Luis going for it was also grimy. However, she did get naked and get in the shower with him, right?
Hey, she was getting her man one way or another, and she
One
knew that that's
way
how she
or
was gonna get.
another, she was gonna get him. So I am gonna say this to Fantasia when you listen to this, because Fantasia has said over and over again, she has never conceded ground on this ever. She always says Sheridan took her man, and I agree. I agree. Sheridan did take her man. That was messed up.
So in my notes, I went by episode. So like if it was this one particular is episode 888.
Okay.
And my notes for this particular storyline is there were two things. I was like, how did Edna get out of her locked room? Because it just bugged me because we see her lock her in. So like, how did she get out? She never unlocked her. She was just really focused on that gun. And the other note was, I know Beth is crazy because how are you going to store a gun with bullets just in a box in a messy closet? I was
in a shoebox. In a shoebox. Didn't know where it was.
I didn't know where it was.
Couldn't find it.
Like, where's the safety?
I misplaced my gun. Oh my God. Yeah. Because she's just rummaging through a random closet looking for a gun. It's like, you should know exactly where your gun is in your house.
Right?
Yeah. And also, I didn't even think about the fact that Edna just got out. I didn't even think about that. Maybe she's been locked in there so many times, she knows how to figure Jimmy. It takes some time, but she knows how to like get out.
Yeah, probably. But you know, the other aspect of that, I still kind of side with Beth in this because she's seeing her world collapse around her, and she's seeing it physically with Luis and Sheridan being together because to her it is a nightmare where she is right now. And just like Edna is saying, you know, like who's basically going to be my indentured servant for the rest of my life, you know, you can't marry anyone because of this, and you're not this, and you're not that. And it's still really sad to see her mom treat her in that way. So it's like you're always kind of gonna root for Beth because you want something good to happen for her.
Yeah, and much like the other brunettes on this show, they do this to the brunettes where they make them they push them to a limit, and then they make them look like the bad guy because they're like in love with some man. And this lady, Beth, is obsessed with Luis, right?
Yeah.
The same way Kay is obsessed with Miguel, Theresa's obsessed with Ethan. This is obsession. And actually, I'm going to throw one blonde in there, Ivy. Ivy's obsessed with Sam.
Oh, yeah.
And so they make Beth seem like this insane, crazy person. But the difference between Beth and all those other ladies, right? Theresa, we can have more of a conversation about, but the difference between like Beth and Ivy and Kay particularly, and you know what, I'll throw Simone in there, is that Beth had a conversation, an honest conversation with Luis. She understands exactly what kind of feelings he had for Sheridan. She asked him outright, are you in? Are you out? I know you love Sheridan, but are you going to be committed to me? And he flat out told her, yes, I've chosen you. I'm going to marry you. I'm going to stay faithful to you. They had that conversation. So I can't call Beth delusional. I can't. I can call Kay delusional all day long. I can call Simone delusional. I can even call Ivy delusional to an extent.
Yeah, you could.
Of course, I can call Theresa delusional to an extent.
The queen of delusion. But
I can't.
Yes.
Well, I think Simone is the queen of delusion, but it depends. You know what? It depends on the type of delusion, I guess. I think it depends on the type. Because
I always think of Simone as she just doesn't have a clue. Like everything is going on here, and then Simone is like miles away from the point.
But she does have a clue. You know what? Hell, let's take this tangent. We'll take this road. I'll pull this thread. So the thing about Simone that really upsets me as far as like how Passions has written her is that in those early episodes, Simone was like the smartest person in the room. Simone
she
always
was.
knew what was going on early on. And then now we've written her into this kind of corner of just being obsessed with Chad. She has two modes. She's either obsessing over Chad or she's telling Kay how stupid she is for obsessing over Miguel, right? That's what she does now. And but she is completely delusional because she absolutely knows what's going on between Chad and Whitney at this point, right? And
she's actively ignoring it.
Yeah, she has deluded herself.
Yeah.
And before that, she had completely, very much deluded herself. And now, yes, she's actively ignoring it, actively living in La La Land. I would say that Theresa is the queen of manifestation, right? She manifests things.
Oh, she totally does. I mean, she had that vision board of being Mrs. Ethan Crane.
Mm-hmm.
And she never sways from that.
She manifests. But Simone, I think and you know what, listeners, weigh in. Who's the most delusional person on the show? I would love to hear who y'all think is the most delusional character on this show.
Well, I also have another one.
Who?
Listeners, who's a fan of Sugar Bear? Like, are there Sugar Bear fans out there? That's what I want to know.
You know what? I was a big fan of Simone.
Yeah? Okay.
Early on. I'm not now, but I was. I loved her. I really loved her.
I was always Team Whitney because, like, she's the oldest. She's the one who has, like, all of this riding on her with how her father treats her, and she's so focused. So, like, to me, I was always Team Whitney just because also being the oldest, like, I saw so much of like my own lived experience through her. So I just wanted her to find happiness that was her own, not something that she had to aspire to because it was her father's dream, you know? And like so much of that, and especially with who Whitney is as a person. We talked about it earlier, you know, about her friendship with Theresa and how they really do appear to be friends. And it's like with Simone, the difficult thing is like her best friend is Kay, but she's always so antagonistic and mean to Kay. And it's like, how's that your best friend?
She doesn't even like
no,
Kay.
not at all.
And in fact, she says that to her this week, basically.
Right? She does.
So,
and we'll get to that. Ugh,
yuck. So we're off on a tangent, but to wrap it up real quick, what I will say
listeners.
is I always no, I love it. Please. I love a tangent.
I'm the king of tangents, and I know that you're really good at them too. And listeners, it's just going to happen.
They love it. So to wrap it up, though, I will say I have always loved Whitney. I do love Whitney, and in fact, this week we see a little flirtation between Whitney and Fox, and it reminded me how much I shipped the two of them. I used to.
Me too.
I forgot that I was like, we'll talk about it more when we get there, but I used to be an avid, I wanted Fox and Whitney to get together. So, and that it unlocked a memory for me about that. But yeah, Simone, I used to really love her. I think there's probably still some people. I think there's probably still some people out there who are like avid Simone fans.
Look, it takes all types.
Yeah, I was shocked to find out that there was I was shocked to find out that Gwen had fans. I truly, genuinely was shocked by that. So it takes all kinds. So, and there are dozens of them.
Shout out to Maria, by the way.
Okay, so anyway, back to Shawise. God, you know what? We needed that little bit of levity because I'm about to get so tight. So Beth runs out with her tiny gun into the day, and meanwhile, Luis and Sheridan make the dumbest plan ever to maybe elope. They left the room. They left each other not knowing necessarily what the plan was, right? So they leave it up to whether one of them shows up or not, basically. What happens is Sheridan puts her plan forth, right? Saying, hey, we can go to the courthouse tonight. I'll make sure we get a marriage license. I can use my Crane influence, blah, blah, blah. Luis starts to tell her his answer, but she tells him, no, I want you to think about it. And what I want you to do is, if you show up to the courthouse and show up to the judge's office, then we'll get married. And if you don't, it's no hard feelings. I'll see you at the church tomorrow for our double wedding to these other people we don't want to fucking marry.
That's a terrible plan.
It's a horrible plan. It's a horrible. And I'm going to tell y'all, it was at this point that I started yelling. I knew exactly where we were going with this. And I think this was the first time in this week that I yelled. Because it happens sometimes. And what happened multiple times was I yelled, I paused, I got up and took a walk. I was like, I can't deal with these fucking idiots. So here's the plan. Sheridan says, if you show up, great, we'll get married. If you don't, no hard feelings. Luis says to her, yeah, if you show up, great, we'll get married. If you don't, it's fine, no hard feelings. She leaves the room. She says to herself, I mean, literally 3 seconds, she leaves the room. You were just talking to him. She leaves the room. She says, I don't have to think about it, Luis. I'll be there tonight. Could have said that to him. Could have said that to him. She leaves the room. He says the same thing that she just said. I don't have to think about it. I'm good. I'm sorry, Beth, but I'm going to marry Sheridan tonight. Could have said that to her. Right. Could have said it to her. She actually still can. She's still here. Could just say that to her. I don't know if there's anything I despise more than simple misunderstandings in
miscommunications.
Miscommunications.
Toughest. Yes.
Something like this particularly, where it's like, it doesn't even make logical sense. This is such, and it only gets worse, but this is such lazy, sloppy writing. It's just.
I'm saving my rant for the next scene because I'm telling you, that's when I had to get up and I paused and I 100%. Walked away. Mm-hmm. And wait until I share what my notes were for that.
I can't wait. So obviously we have set ourselves up for a misunderstanding. Surprise. We've set ourselves up for a misunderstanding. And so they're both certain that they will both go to the courthouse tonight and they will get married. They're going to elope, both of them. They just have not communicated that to each other. And then I wrote, I feel a simple misunderstanding coming on, and I wrote because I do. I can feel it. I see it coming. I see the writing on the wall. So Sheridan then goes home to get ready for her elopement, and Antonio comes into the room and he's like, you smell good. You smell it. You're wearing your special occasion perfume. Sheridan's a billionaire. What do you mean she has special occasion perfume? Like, she's not like me buying fragrances off the TikTok shop. Like, I'm sure she has some Oscar de la Renta. I'm sure she has some beautiful fragrances. But he clocks it as her special occasion perfume. And then he goes, I wish I could see you. I'm sorry. He's just so pathetic. I wish I could see you, but at least I can feel you, touch you. He starts putting his hands all over. I was like, sick to my stomach. At least I can feel you, touch you. I want to be with you. I want to show you how much I love you. So he obviously like trying to have sex with her, and she pushes him off of her, and she says, she's crying, by the way. Yeah. She pushes him off of her, and she's like, I won't be staying here with you tonight. And he says, oh, what? Why not? But instead of letting her answer, he says, oh, it's because you don't think that the groom should see the bride before the wedding. It's that superstition that we shouldn't make love before our wedding, that you want the next time that we make love for us to be man and wife. And she says, thank you for understanding.
And the worst part about this is Antonio isn't bad this week, but that was like the absolute worst. I was like, ick. Like, you still get the ick from him.
Yeah.
And the fact that he won't even let her say anything just goes to show you exactly who he is as a person. And
Yeah,
you're just,
anytime I think I might have a little bit of sympathy for him, they make him do something like this and
this,
that makes my skin fucking crawl, and I'm like, yeah,
right?
fuck this guy, let him die. Drop dead, Antonio. So yeah, she pushes him off, and he thinks this is all about her not wanting to sleep with him before they're man and wife, whatever. He tells her, well, you know what? So you can sleep in the bed here tonight. I'll go stay at my mom's house. Theresa had a new house built and there's plenty of extra rooms. And this is when he finally realizes that she's crying. And she's been crying audibly, right? Even if you can't see her, you could tell she was crying. She was like sniffling and crying and could barely speak. And he's like, oh, Sheridan, you're crying. I know those are tears of joy. Doesn't ask her if anything's wrong. He tells her they're tears of joy. So, okay, girl. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and throw this one in here.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I really can't.
Sure does.
Antonio. Yeah, and we barely see any of him this week. And even the little bit we get of him is just like, yuck. Yuck. So, she tells him, thank you for understanding. He goes to stay at his mom's house, and then she goes to the judge's office to wait for Luis. She talks to the judge's like clerk or secretary. I'm not sure what she was. I'm going to call her his clerk. And they have the marriage license all ready to go. And so she's just sitting there waiting on Luis. Meanwhile, Luis calls Beth, who's standing outside his window with a gun. Luis calls Beth and she doesn't answer the phone. He leaves her a voicemail saying that they need to talk. You know what? Good on Luis. Luis was trying to tell her. He was at least trying to tell her. Yes, he has already cheated on her, so that's fucked. But Sheridan didn't even tell Antonio. Like, she's just going to drop this bomb on him on his wedding day. Right.
And one thing that I have to mention is that he called her cell phone. And I'm going to put a pin in that until a little later on when we start to discuss how this story wraps up. But he called her cell phone. So I know that he knows how to use a cell phone.
Yeah. Yep.
And we'll get there. I got to save it for that. But
oh my God. So he calls Beth on her. He calls her on her cell phone. And she does not answer. She lets him she sends him the voicemail and he leaves it because she knows what's coming. If she answers the phone, he's going to break up with her. Yeah. And so he leaves her a voicemail saying that they need to talk. Beth then goes home, tells her monster of a mother that she overheard Luis and Sheridan talking about eloping, and then she explains that she did not kill them because her mom's like, oh my God, did you kill Sheridan and Luis? Oh my Lord. And she explains that she did not kill Sheridan and Luis because she came up with a better plan that won't land her on death row, basically. She snuck in through, this was so dumb. She snuck in through the window while Luis was in the shower or something and saw he had gotten himself a drink. So she put one of those tranquilizers that her mom had given her. She
pulled an Eve.
She pulled a Beth because this will be the second or third time she's drugged Luis, actually.
Yeah, she's very good at doing that.
Yeah, she has drugged him. I don't know if I want to call it once or twice. It was in the same week, but she did it 2 times in that week in the same time, right? Yeah. Like she gave him a drink with a tranquilizer, Percocets are in it or something, and then she gave him another drink with another Percocet. Yeah. So we could either call it 1, we call it 2, we call it 3. It's 1 is one too many. So
1 is one too many. So she's done it too many times.
She's done it far too many times. She has drugged this man again. So she goes home. She tells her mom. Her mother says, "How can you be so evil, Bethy?" She tells her she's destroying people's lives. And Beth says, what about my life, mother? Huh? Am I supposed to just stand by while Sheridan swoops in and steals Luis away from me just hours before I'm supposed to get married? And her mom says, your wedding's a farce. You have tricked Luis over and over and over again to try to get him to the altar. And Beth says, no, I was protecting what was mine. And Sheridan didn't get to take Luis. And Sheridan didn't get to take Luis away from me again because I stopped her. So now Sheridan thinks that Luis chose me, not her. She thinks that it's over between her and Luis. So mother, Luis is all mine. Today, I am going to marry Luis, not Sheridan, because I am going to be Mrs. Luis Lopez Fitzgerald. I'm not mad at it.
But, and that's also the thing. It's like she did something really bad. And we just talked about the fact that she has drugged Luis more than once. And yet, what she is saying right now is like, I can't disagree with her. She's kind of right in that circumstance. How? After all this, she's still right.
She is kind of right. I'm sorry. Yes, it is wrong for her. It was wrong for her to drug Luis. Absolutely. Yeah. It was absolutely wrong for her to drug Luis. But this is frankly, I'm gonna be real with you. I was on her side when she was going to shoot him. So he got off easy. He got off easy. I was like, when she had the gun, I was like, it's a crime of passion. No, I wouldn't convict. It would be a hung jury if I was on the jury. I wouldn't convict. It's a crime of passion. It is. So yeah, it's wrong for her to drug him, but it was wrong for him to cheat on her the night before their wedding.
Yeah.
That was very wrong.
It was.
And she's angry. And would I necessarily poison him or not poison, drug? I guess it's similar. Would I necessarily drug him?
Well, Edna called it a Mickey later on, so.
Yeah, so.
You slipped him a Mickey.
Slip him a Mickey. No, I would not have drugged him. If it were me, it would have gone a very different way because I had a mother who loved me. I had parents who loved me. So I wouldn't even be in this situation that Beth is in. But if I do put myself into Beth's situation and in her shoes, yeah, you're gonna get some. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to get some kind of consequence for this. You have wronged me on so many levels, and somebody's gonna pay.
Yeah, because this is now again that it has happened, and this close to a wedding, it is the worst timing. So you kind of feel for Beth because the finish line is marrying Luis.
Yeah.
And she's right there. She is right there. She sees the end in sight. And then to have that rug just pulled up under your feet, like she's got to be spiraling. So, and we're seeing her spiral. So,
like I said, crime of passion. So I wouldn't convict her. So this is when her mom tells her that she's going straight to hell. And Beth says, maybe I will someday, mother, but at least while I'm alive, while I'm in the here and now, I'll be happy because I'm going to be with the man that I love. Tonight, Luis is going to marry me, and nothing and no one is going to stop it. Certainly not that bitch, Sheridan. You know what, girl? You know what? I know that's right. I know that's right. I know that's right. Certainly not that bitch Sheridan. Oh! Because what the fuck, Sheridan? Oh, my God. Oh, jeez. So it's the next day. It is the wedding day, everybody. We have moved into the wedding day. And Hank shows up at Luis's home to help him get ready, and Luis is passed out in his bed. So he wakes him up and Luis is like, oh my God, what time is it? What day is it? He's frantic. He realizes he's missed out on eloping with Sheridan. He's frantic. He's like, oh my gosh, he tells Hank, I was supposed to elope with Sheridan last night. I don't know how I fell asleep. I don't know how I passed out. And meanwhile, Sheridan wakes up in the judge's office because she slept there all night.
Yeah. And just one side note, he doesn't look like he's asleep. He looks like he's possibly dead. So
He
you
did look
kind
like
of
he was
think he
dead.
might be dead. But yeah.
Yeah, they did this thing where we saw Beth with the gun, and then we didn't see her again until she went home. And then the next time we see Luis, he looks like he's like passed out on the bed dead. But that's when she explained she didn't shoot him. She just drugged. She only drugged him.
I only drugged. Oh
no. So Sheridan wakes up in the judge's office. They find the most convoluted way to explain how Gwen knew where Sheridan was, but they do explain it. And because Gwen shows up and wakes her up at the judge's office. I did not write down how Gwen knows. Just know that Gwen knows that she was there. So
probably called her on her cell phone.
Because that's something you can do. So she realizes Luis never showed up. And she, of course, is deeply upset. I understood she was very upset. That's upsetting. They had just had sex.
It is.
She's decided that she's made this huge decision, albeit stupid, but she's made this huge... Well, the decision itself isn't stupid. Like, the decision to choose Luis isn't dumb. The decision to elope at this moment is stupid. And I want to clarify that. Gwen tries to give Luis the benefit of the doubt. She says, well, maybe something happened. Maybe there's an accident. You don't know. Like, call him, Sheridan.
Oh, my God.
Call him, Sheridan.
Oh, my God.
Sheridan vehemently says, no, absolutely not. He must love Beth more than me. And he wants to marry Beth, not me. Otherwise, he would have been here last night and we would be married. I've lost him. My God, I've lost him forever. And that's what she says. On the one hand, I guess I can understand. This is why they wrote it the way they wrote it. The whole, if you show up, then that's your answer. If you don't, then that's your answer. This is why, so that these two people wouldn't talk to each other afterwards. Right. It's stupid. I'm gonna say that. It's fucking dumb.
Gwen is absolutely a voice of reason, as well as Hank is a voice of reason in this episode, because both of them say, respectively, to Sheridan and to Luis, why don't you just call? Why don't you just call? And my notes at this, if you are not clear about like what cell phone ownership in like the early 2000s were, where you had like daytime minutes and then evenings at like 9 p.m. would be free.
Yeah.
And then like the incentive, depending on like what cell phone carrier you would have, would be like anytime minutes, and that you have rollover minutes, or you have my fave 5, or you used to have like the Nextel chirping thing. And I'm yelling at the screen going, a simple phone call would have fixed this misunderstanding. Is Luis not on your top 5? I'm like, you're Sheridan Crane. You probably got like a ton of minutes.
Yeah, she can afford
just
the
call
minutes.
him.
She can
Come
afford
on,
it.
just call. Someone call. I know you know how to use a cell phone. You called Beth earlier. Call someone, please. Just call someone.
Make a simple phone call. Make a simple phone call. That's all it would have taken.
Just a phone call.
Moment of silence for all of this, because
Girl, you're rich.
For my sanity.
Girl, you're rich.
A moment of silence for my sanity. It's gone. It is gone, because this only gets so much stupider. And I can't even be necessarily, I'm not even really mad at the characters. I'm mad at the writers. I'm so angry at the way that this was written. I'm so angry at it. So yeah, Gwen tells her, like, call him. She refuses, right? She then says, no one can ever know that I was here. Who's gonna know? Who's gonna come to this? Who's gonna seek out this specific judge's office? And it was only the 3 of you in here, the judge and the clerk and you. Who's ever gonna seek this place out and say, hey, was Sheridan here trying to marry Luis? The only person who might seek it out is Luis, which he does, which of course he does. So she tells the clerk, no one can ever know that I was here. Because I guess because of the embarrassment of her being stood up, she just says no one can ever know and tells the clerk, if anybody comes here asking if I was here, you have to tell them no, you haven't seen me. I was never here. And then she rips up the marriage license and throws it in the trash can. Oh my God. And at this point in my notes, I write, she rips up the marriage license saying no one can ever find out about this. She and Luis miss each other at the judge's office, of course.
Because
hate
one's
this
going in
so
one elevator
much.
going down.
This
and
is
the other's
so
going...
fucking stupid. That's what my notes say. I hate this so fucking much. This is so stupid. Capital letters. I was angry. I was to the point that I yelled so loudly that my niece was scared. She came to check on me. She thought that something was wrong. And I had to apologize to her for scaring her, because she really was like, is everything okay? Because no, everything was not okay, actually.
Frustration.
Everything was not okay. I was so upset. I had to take a walk. Yeah, this was stupid. Yes, when she's leaving the office, she gets on an elevator and he gets off an elevator, but they pass each other getting on and off two different elevators on the same floor, because there's just like three people between them, so they don't see each other getting on and off the elevator together. Oh my God. I'm sorry. And I've said this before on the podcast, how much I absolutely despise like zaniness and shenanigans, particularly these kinds of shenanigans when the stakes are quite high. And it also is simply so forced and lazy. It's just a simple misunderstanding, and it's just the laziest possible way to write this. Because the thing is, Sheridan and Luis could have eloped. That could have been interesting, actually, right?
It could have. Yeah.
Dealing with the fallout of their elopement could have been very, very interesting. Having Beth and Antonio, maybe not Antonio since he's sick as hell, but having Beth like do a revenge plot where she's acting so sweet and nice and kind, but she's actually plotting to kill Sheridan. And for Luis to become a widower so she can marry him. Yeah. I could have gotten into that. I could have. I can't get into this. I can't get into this.
Because it's always their storyline also, so it's like they're always missing that connection. Which could be interesting, but it's like every time you give us like one step forward, it's always like 5 steps back. And it's so tough because it's just a simple miscommunication. And all it would take is for someone to give you a call. And like in her conversations with Gwen, where she's like, I really waited until the last minute to do all of this. And the same for Luis, he's lamenting the fact that he's now marrying someone that doesn't want truly. Beth is not in his heart the way that Sheridan is, and you're just like, all you needed to do was a simple phone call. Why can't you just call? Just call.
Well,
like, you thought she was dead. You found out that she's alive. Like, and now she's engaged to your brother. Like, all of these steps, just a phone call. Someone call.
A phone call. A text message, maybe.
Right? A text is really easy. 10 cents. It used to cost like 10 cents.
Literally, I'm so sorry, Sheridan. I fell asleep. I do want to elope.
Right.
He should. Luis in particular. Sheridan not calling Luis because she's embarrassed. She makes these excuses that she's embarrassed. Understandably so. She feels like she's been stood up. She made this like huge decision, and then Luis just didn't show up. I actually can see that perspective of her being embarrassed and too embarrassed to like call him or text him, and just like he's made his choice. He's mad at me, and so he decided to marry Beth. Okay. Yeah. But from Luis's perspective, Sheridan, you know Sheridan showed up to the courthouse. Like, you know she did. It was her idea.
Right.
It was her idea. You know she. So text her and say, I fell asleep. Oh my God, did I miss you? I'm so sorry. What? Like, at least. And yes, that would be an annoying text to get, but at least it's something.
Winky face emoticon.
Yeah, my bad, girl. LOL. But yeah, nobody communicates in this, and it's again just completely stupid. And I think one of the reasons this was so frustrating to me is we've already done this, Passions. We already did this, and not only did we did it for a very long time. When they were on the island on Bermuda, and Luis was there, and they just kept missing each other. We've done this. You've done this to us over and over again. I'm tired of this. I'm sick of this. I'm disgusted, frankly. And I feel like this was one of those times. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I had a moment where I was like, why do I fucking watch this show? I really was just like, I was like, should I end this now? I'm tired. I'm so tired. But I persist because you know what? You know what made me persist? Kay Bennett. Y'all can thank Kay for me continuing on this week.
Kay is MVP of this week, so
I have to make Kay merch. I have to. But
you have to. Let's
go on. We're not done with this. There's still so much.
There is.
But we'll go on. So they miss each other at the judge's office, and Luis asks that clerk, was Sheridan Crane here? We were supposed to get married, blah, blah, blah. She remembers the orders that Sheridan Crane gave her. And you have to remember, Sheridan, at the end of the day, Sheridan is a Crane. So anybody in this town is going to take the orders from a Crane very, very seriously, right? And so I can't even be mad at this lady. I couldn't. I wanted to be, but I couldn't, because Sheridan told her, if somebody asks if I was here, I wasn't. And so she did what she was asked to do. And she told Luis, no. I'm sorry, I was here all night. She wasn't here. She never showed up. So Luis thinks that Sheridan never showed up to marry him. And so he's dejected, and he has decided, well, I guess I got to get to the church to marry Beth. No, you don't. No, you don't. That was the other thing. That was the other thing that was driving me crazy this week, is that somehow we only have two choices: elope, Sheridan and Luis elope, or they marry Beth and Antonio. There's also a third choice where nobody gets married.
I don't know. Someone just has to get married. There's like a punch card for marriages on Passions. They're trying to get one for free.
It doesn't make any logical sense.
No.
And this is where I have to harp on Luis a little bit, because with Sheridan, there is the issue of Antonio's illness, right? Like, she should still break up with him. She should still tell him the truth. Like, you can still do that. The truth is still the truth. However, she's still dealing with the fact that he might drop dead because of it. That's a larger part. Luis, you're gonna still go through with this wedding to Beth after you just slept with Sheridan and you were just about to marry her? Excuse me? You can just call it off.
Good.
But he thinks if there's no Sheridan, he might as well marry Beth, and he might as well do it now.
Yeah, it's always good to be the second choice. Like you're just like, it makes me upset with Luis, because he clearly loves Sheridan, and Sheridan is the person who's in his heart. So to pick a second choice, like to be the second pick, I also feel bad for Beth and her own self-worth and self-value, because you're the second choice. You're not the number one. So it's like, it's icky. And it's not something that I like about this storyline,
At all. The only thing that makes me that makes me say, okay, I can deal with this is the fact that Beth and Luis did have a very honest conversation, and he was honest with
They
her,
did.
and she does
Yeah.
know that he loves Sheridan because he's told her out of his mouth that he loves Sheridan, and he's told her if Sheridan was free, he's flat out told her, if Sheridan were free, I would not be marrying you, Beth. I would be marrying Sheridan. And so she, and I think in his mind, he's like, she knows what the truth is, and that's the only reason I can give Luis even a little bit of understanding in this. I'm still upset with him because you shouldn't be marrying Beth. You should not be marrying Beth.
I mean, I do have the understanding because, in life, I think love is a very powerful emotion overall. And I think that you can have love for someone that changes over time. And, he has love for Sheridan in his heart, and that can change into something else. I mean, they have this passion, and it's a very passionate and just the fire that they have is just amazing. So, to kind of have to get rid of those emotions or act like they never happen is never going to happen. Like, and I think that we have that in our own lives. Like, for anyone who's ever been in love, you could still hold love for someone and not be with someone. So I do see that side of it. But at the same time, because we know that it's a misconnection, and it's just as something as a miscommunication where we know that you all have cell phones. Just call, text, do something, please.
Yeah, you can absolutely love someone and not want to be with them. Right?
Yeah.
I do think that Luis loves Beth. He has said as much.
Yes.
He just doesn't love her as much as he loves Sheridan. It's a different kind of love.
It is.
And like you said, it's not that, and it's not a deep, passionate love. It's just it's almost a you're my buddy kind of love. Like we're friends. We've been friends for a long time, and I love you. You would be a good wife. He said that a couple of times. Like she'd be a great wife. Yeah. Okay. Sheridan actually probably wouldn't be a great wife, right? She can't cook. Like in the scheme of what passion says is a good wife, right? Like a homemaker. Sheridan wouldn't be a very good homemaker at all. But Beth would. And he said he loves how caring she is and how much she cares about her mother. And so, yeah, he does love her. He just doesn't love her as much as he loves Sheridan. And she's okay with that. And she's made clear that she's okay with that. And to him, right? As long as he chooses her. And maybe that's what it is about Beth, too, that makes me like her, is while I would never be necessarily in Beth's position, I do understand saying to someone that you really love and really want to be with, like, I am going into this with my eyes open. I know exactly what your feelings are for me. I know what my feelings are for you. And the choice matters more to me than the fact that you love that person, right?
Yeah.
Like you choosing me is an act of love in and of itself. I think for me, in my mind. And I kind of think for Beth too. The fact that you chose me shows me that you at least love me, right? And if you're gonna choose me every day, great. We're in a good position. But yeah, it's
a rare instance of the passions writers. Oh, sorry.
You're back. You're back.
It's a rare instance in which the passions writers actually have something really poignant, and then just it's really on the money when it comes to that. So it's like it happens. It does happen.
Absolutely agree. I think that was one of those rare passions, like when really, because it is such a real world kind of thing. They work so often in that binary of like you love them or you don't love them. And that's just not how life is. That's not how life works. And I think we really could have done more with like this whole thing with Beth, how that she loves Luis and he loves her too, but he's just choosing her. We could have extrapolated that in so many interesting ways. And instead,
it would have been really cool.
Instead, we're doing this. So instead, we're going to dig a pit. Fine.
Right?
Fine. Anyway, where was I? I went off on a little tangent again. My bad. So Luis, he goes to the church. He's gonna marry Beth. They're gonna go through. Both of them are just gonna go through with this wedding. My my next note after Luis talks to that clerk is, I can't even take notes on this anymore. It's a simple misunderstanding. I said, it's a simple misunderstanding, and it's too forced and incredibly lazy. And for a little bit, I just watched. And then So my next note says, why on earth are we bothering to have a wedding?
Yeah.
Sheridan's crying. Like, Luis is sulking. Why are we having this wedding? So Sheridan is talking to Gwen at the church in her bridal suite, and she says, how am I going to stand at the altar and watch Luis marry Beth? How am I going to do this? You don't have to.
You don't.
You don't have to do this. You were going to do something so much worse than just telling Antonio the truth. You were going to marry his brother and then drop that bomb on him on his wedding day. You could just break up with him now. Like, you had the guts, the balls to do that, but you can't just say, you know what? Never mind on this wedding.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Sheridan, get it together, girl. So Gwen tells her, she keeps telling her, you should call Luis. Find out exactly what happened. Call him. Sheridan's like, no, I can't. He's made his choice. I don't want to make him feel uncomfortable. I just don't know how I'm going to do this. Again, you don't have to. Gwen tells her, you will get through this, Sheridan. You're one of the strongest women I know. You've been through so much already. You can definitely get through this, which is true. It's true. But she's not making the choice that the Sheridan I once knew would have made. Sheridan then says, I just wish I knew what happened. I was so sure that Luis was going to show up. I was so sure that he was going to marry me. You wish you knew what happened. You could call him.
Good.
Gwen has been telling you. You want to know, if you really want to know what happened, because here's the thing. She's saying, I just wish I knew what happened. Okay. But you're also saying, no, I'm not going to call him because I know what happened. Nope. He chose to marry Beth. Which one is it, Sheridan? Which one is it? Do you really believe that he chose Beth over you? Or do you not know and want to know the answer? And I believe it's the second. I think it's the latter. I think you don't know and you want to know. And call him, girl. Call him. Yes. Or even if you don't want to call him, send Gwen to go talk to him. Ask Gwen to call him. Right? Check in through a friend. Oh my gosh.
Phone a friend.
Phone a friend. Ask Hank. She could call, if she doesn't want to call Luis, she could call Hank.
She could.
Oh God. So then again, Gwen tries to get her to call him. Sheridan's like, I don't want to humiliate myself any further than I already have. And it's just like, well, I'm sorry. I think this whole wedding is a humiliation ritual, right? Like the whole
it is 100%. Yes.
You don't want to be humiliated, but you're about to walk down the aisle and have a double wedding with a man whose brother you're in love with. The entire town who's going to be in attendance at your wedding knows that you love Luis, but you're marrying Antonio. Is that not a humiliation to you?
Right.
That's utterly humiliating. Like, everybody knows that this is a farce and a sham of a wedding. But making a phone call would be too humiliating for her. So she can't do that. Couldn't possibly.
No, couldn't.
She was about to do one of the most evil things I've ever seen done on this show, but she can't call Luis. It's too much. It's too much.
You know why they haven't called each other? Because their ringtone for each other is the bloom bloom music. And they know if that happens, they know that it's trouble.
If it's up and it's stuck, if they play that music. So Sheridan tells her it's too late. And then she goes to get her mother's rosary from Father Lonigan's office. And she sees Luis in the hallway. They see each other. And They don't talk to each other. They give each other a weird look. Actually, they do exchange like a weird, like one line to each other, like hi or something like that.
Yeah.
But before they can start to unpack what happened and to figure out what actually happened, Beth and Edna show up, and Beth scrambles in and is like, oh my God, Luis, you can't see me. She puts something in front of her face, and she's like, Sheridan, you shouldn't be out here either, because Antonio might get here and he can't see you either. He can't see you before the wedding. I was like, he can't see, he wouldn't be able to see. But she's like, no, but you shouldn't be out here, because even if he can't see you, it's bad luck for y'all to even be like in the same room with each other. It's some bullshit. And so she kind of pushes Sheridan into the bridal suite, and then Beth and Sheridan have like the weirdest conversation.
They do.
Wherein Beth tells Sheridan, oh, Sheridan, you're shaking, you must have pre-wedding jitters. And Sheridan says, I guess it's only natural. And Beth says to her, oh, well, for you maybe, but gosh, I've known Luis for so many years. I'm just not nervous at all. See? Yeah, even though we were apart for a while, it seems so natural to be marrying him now. I guess we were just meant to be. And I know the two of you care for each other, but that was before Antonio came into your life. The way I see it, everything's worked out for the best. You are marrying a man who adores you, and, well, I'm back with Luis.
Cold.
You know what?
Cold.
I loved it. She could have been worse. She could have been worse.
She could have.
That girl, she watched that woman sleep with her fiance last night.
But through all of this, the one thing that I really loved, like Gwen really has some really good scenes throughout this week. And this was one of them, because her stank eye towards Beth, I like, because it's so much and you're raging, I actually laughed because I was
hilarious.
like, it was the best.
It was hilarious. And I will say, similarly, because I think Maria may have said this on one of the episodes about Theresa, about how she actually likes Theresa when outside of the love triangle story that she's in, that she kind of, she likes, you know, seeing her do like her work at Crane and stuff, right? I feel similarly about Gwen. Outside of the Ethan stuff, I do, when the rare moments when they have her being a friend to someone else, I like her. I like and she's making so much sense. Sheridan should absolutely listen to her. And but Sheridan won't. She won't hear it. So Beth leaves, and Sheridan and Gwen have a little conversation about Beth, and Gwen says, you know what? I don't like her. And I love that, because I do the same thing when I don't like somebody, and I'll tell my friend, I will flat out be like, I don't like them. I don't like that person. And here is why. This person is, something about them is off for X, Y, and Z reason, but I don't like them.
Intuition is a very powerful thing, and sometimes you really need to pay attention to it.
Well, and honestly, Gwen's not even using her intuition here. She's just using basic common sense here.
Common sense. Gwen, the same woman who came to Theresa's home with a baseball bat, and come on.
But she's not the thing about Gwen is she's not dumb.
She isn't. No, not at all.
She's a fool for Ethan, but she's not a dumb woman, if that makes sense. Yeah. But she is a fool. Oh, she is a fool for Ethan.
That is her kryptonite.
And so they are fools for that idiot. So, anyway, Sheridan tells Gwen, after Gwen says, I don't like her, something's off about her. Sheridan's like, no, you're wrong. Beth is a good person. Sometimes I can't believe how decent and accepting she's been about Luis and me since I came home. And Gwen says, that's exactly my point, Sheridan. No woman is that understanding when it comes to losing the man they love to another woman. And Sheridan's like, well, she hasn't lost Luis. She's the one marrying him tonight. And Gwen says, she is his second choice. And she knows it. I just want to, we're going to put a pin in that and we'll come back to that. She is his second choice and she knows it. I'm surprised she can't I'm surprised she can even be in the same room with you. I mean, she must really hate your guts. Gwen knows this on a cellular level, right? She understands this on a cellular level because this just happened to her.
Right.
There are those, Maria, who will say that Gwen is Ethan's first choice. But and technically, if you go all the way back to the beginning, yes. However, at that time, she was also his only choice.
Only choice.
When he actually had a chance to make a choice, he chose Theresa multiple times.
Yes. Well, yes, I am 100% on board with you on that. That is very clear.
He chose Theresa multiple times. Yeah. And he only chose Gwen because she's pregnant. She's not his first choice. Theresa is. So
yes, and because
Gwen
of
understands
her lying.
This. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Gwen understands this on a cellular level. Like, she must hate your guts because Gwen hates Theresa's guts. However, Gwen won out, right? And Gwen got to be like the winner of the prize of Ethan, but
in this time in the story, as we know, so like last week's was Gwen and Ethan's wedding, so she is living high on the hog because she knows that she won, so like she has clarity on a lot of things because in her eyes she is the first choice and she was chosen. And we see this in her interactions as she's peppered into the story. So
I mean, she's married Ethan, so she's feeling very good about herself, which, fine.
Yeah.
But and she's right. She's absolutely right here with Sheridan.
Yeah.
But she's right because she's lived this, right? She lived
this. It is fresh in her mind.
Yeah, she's kind of the Beth. She absolutely is the Beth because Beth and Luis were together. And then Sheridan came into the picture. Same thing with Ethan and Gwen. Ethan and Gwen were together. And then Theresa came into the picture. So she's the Beth in her relationship. Okay, moving on. She says, that lady must hate your guts. Sheridan says, no, not Beth. She doesn't have a mean bone in her body. She's been such a loyal friend to both Luis and me through this whole terrible time. I mean, it's not her fault that I got amnesia and met Antonio. And it's not Luis's fault either. If anyone's to blame, it's myself for letting things go on too long. Okay, girl, let's stay here. Yes. Let's
seriously
pull that thread, baby girl. You're there. Right? It's your fault for letting things go on too long. Maybe now's the time to pull that thread and say, this has gone on long enough. It's gone on long enough.
It has. Come on.
My God. So Sheridan says, I was torn between my love for Luis and trying to do the right thing by Antonio, that I put the man that I love the most. Sorry, I'm reading in a horrible way. Okay. I was so torn between my love for Luis and trying to do the right thing by Antonio that I put the man that I love the most in a complete bind. He hung in as long as he could, but it was just a little too late. It's just a little too late, a little too long, and I can wait. It's just a little too long, a little too late. This is a little too late. He gave me his answer last night when he stood me up at the judge's office. Luis chose Beth, and I just have to accept that with some sort of grace. I mean, yeah, okay. Again, I will say on Sheridan's side, the reasons why she won't have a conversation with Luis, I can sort of see. Right? This was all her idea. She very much was pushing him. He did say no to her a couple of times when they were in the bed, right? So on Sheridan's end, I can see it. On Luis's end, I absolutely don't get it. I don't.
I don't either.
So this is when Hank again tells Luis he needs to talk to Sheridan. And he says, what's the point, Hank? She's already made her decision by not showing up in the judge's office. We promised we'd accept each other's decision as final. And besides, she's done this kind of thing before. She kept telling me that she would tell Antonio the truth about us, and then she would change her mind at the last minute. As much as I hate to admit it, it appears, operative words, operative words, Luis. It appears as though she's done it again. I just have to accept it and move on with my life with Beth. Now, yeah, so with Luis, this isn't holding water for me. I'm sorry, it's not. It's not.
I don't know. It's like I go back and forth because I actually watched this particular episode twice. Because the first time I was just so angry and I was like, okay, let me be a little, because I got to take notes on it. I just got to take notes on it. Because initially I was like, yeah, up until this point, Sheridan has been so hot and cold. It's yes, I'm going to do it, and then no, I'm not. And it's got to be humiliating to him because the way that Luis loves is he's just so all encompassing in his love for Sheridan. So he probably is a little cold towards that, but at the same time, I'm like, you overslept, dude. Like,
Yeah,
fix it.
you
Just
overslept.
fix it.
And then you went the only information he has about Louis Sheridan quote not showing up is the word of that one random lady.
Yeah.
You got the word of one random lady. Maybe you got the judge's offices mixed up. Maybe you're confused. Maybe
Yeah, because it wasn't a great plan.
It wasn't a great plan. It was very poorly planned and very poorly executed, right? Yeah. So for me, it doesn't make sense to me that Luis would just at this point completely give up when he was so close to getting exactly what he wanted. He was very, very close to it. And Sheridan brought that to him. If anything, also, even if he does believe that Sheridan just didn't show up, Luis, I feel like he would at least tell her, like, that was really fucked up, girl. Like, you know
right?
what I mean? Like,
like something.
I can't believe you did that last night. You really crossed the line, Sheridan. You came to my home, you got in the shower with me, you had sex with me, then you told me that you wanted to marry me, that we would elope last night, and then you just don't show up? Huh? Right? I think that's a conversation worth having on Luis's end. But he says, she's done this before, and she's just chosen. She's made her choice. So anyway, Edna, whatever. She acts as usual, acts like she's gonna do something to help, and she doesn't because she's awful. And oh gosh, I'm sorry. I can't stand Beth's mother. I cannot stand this awful, awful woman. She knocks on Luis's door like she's gonna tell him, like, we need to have a chat about my daughter, as if she's going to drop the dime on Beth and tell it all. She doesn't, partially because she sees Beth in the corner, and Beth is lurking, and so how Passions has written it, she was afraid of Edna. I'm sorry, afraid of Beth, so she doesn't say anything to Luis. She just tells him how close she and Beth are, and that she hopes that there'll be space for her in their lives once they get married, basically.
So for me, the way that I interpreted that, and I want to see what your thoughts are, because I agree, like all of that back and forth with Edna, she's a lot of bark, not any bite, unless it comes to Beth. But she talked about, well, you marrying Beth means that Beth can't take care of me. And you see, like, we're supposed to interpret it as she's afraid of Beth, but I think she's afraid about being alone because this is the world that she built for herself. And that's how I saw this scene. So I felt it just a little bad for Edna because she sees, like, oh, if Beth gets what she wants, then what am I left with? I have nothing.
Okay.
And so I kind of felt like that was how you could read it.
Let's break this down. Here's what I'm gonna say. I understand. I to an extent I understand and agree with what you have said. Okay. Where I take issue with Edna here is that, yes, absolutely, she is afraid. That is clear. She's afraid of what her life will look like if Beth gets married and goes off with Luis, right?
Yeah.
She also is afraid of Beth in that exact moment because she's afraid of what Beth will do to her if she tells Luis the truth, right? Now, but to go off on the portion of like she's afraid of what her life is going to look like and having any sympathy for her on that, I can't have any sympathy for her on it. I can't. You made this bed. You're going to have to lie in it. Number two, though, Luis, she knows that Luis is a kind man. He keeps talking about how he's such a family man. Luis would never let Beth
at all
leave her mother living in squalor alone. At the very worst, they'd have her put in a home. But I don't think he would even do that.
No, because you and I both know where this story is going, and there's going to be very rough patch of some passion stuff that is going to happen. Please stay tuned, because it is wild. It is wild. But
they do hire a nurse.
They do get a nurse, but like, and he kind of like is along with it for how crazy and wild it's gonna be. So it's one of those things where you know it, but it was like the one bit of humanity I saw in Edna, because otherwise, like, it's hard to like Edna at this point in the story.
She's selfish. You know? She only cares about herself. She has only ever cared about herself. She's never given a thought to Beth or Beth's happiness in any capacity at any point in that little girl's life, ever.
Yeah, and it's a shame.
Yeah, and so whatever. She doesn't tell. She acts like she's going to do something, and she does nothing. As usual, she's as useless as Father Lonigan. So she is.
We had to talk about him now.
He wasn't even in the episodes, but so then Luis has a conversation with Hank while Gwen and Sheridan have a very similar conversation, and I have that clip, and that's going to be the end for Sheridan and Luis today. Do you have anything to add before we? Well, you can add it after we do this. Well, you have anything to add before we go into the clip?
Communicate. We all have smartphones, for crying out loud.
For crying out loud.
Just fucking communicate. You can fix all of this.
They are so frustrating.
Better get a move.
Okay. So this is going to be our last clip for Luis.
Better get a move on, buddy. Luis, we've been tight most of our lives. I was there when you started dating Beth in high school. I was the one to push you two back together when I thought Sheridan was dead. But I know you do not love Beth the same way you love Sheridan.
I think I'll never love anybody the way I love Sheridan.
That's why I have to ask you this. Can you really go through with this wedding tonight? Can you commit the rest of your life to Beth when the woman you want to marry is Sheridan?
I made a promise.
Promises before a wedding can be broken. But the ones that you make in front of God, your family and friends in a church, those you have to abide by. Can you honestly tell me that you're not going to regret every single day of the rest of your life if you marry Beth? What about when your brother passes away and Sheridan is left alone? How are you going to feel then? Be honest with me, Luis. Can you really let go of Sheridan and marry Beth?
Oh my God, here comes Sheridan in this ugly dress.
You look beautiful.
Her torso, why?
I wish I felt that way on the inside. When hell am I gonna go through with this? How am I gonna marry Luis's brother instead of Luis? And why doesn't Luis love me as much as I love him?
Look, I will never understand why he didn't show up to elope with you last night, but I don't believe for a minute it's because he doesn't love you enough.
But you weren't the one waiting for Luis at the judge's office all night long. The fact that he didn't show up could only mean one thing. Luis has decided to marry Beth instead of me.
No, I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I will never believe that Luis loves Beth more than he loves you. Oh, don't make the biggest mistake of your life without being extra certain, Sheridan. This is way too important not to try again. If you marry Antonio, you will lose Luis forever. And you've said it yourself. Once he marries Beth, he won't break his commitment.
So if you're ever going to right this wrong, you have got to do it now before it is too late, before the ceremony. Sheridan, you have to go to Luis.
And there you have it, folks. Gwen is like you said earlier, voice of reason. She's making so much, and Hank is making too much sense, frankly, because
way too much.
it really shouldn't be this tough. It shouldn't be this hard. Also, the fact that Sheridan is, like I've said before, the fact that we are still having a wedding makes no sense to me. It doesn't make any sense.
At all.
Any sense. And you know what? That scene actually kind of reminded me of. I can talk about this because my mom is not married to this man anymore, but when my mom was getting married, she was getting remarried to this guy that none of us really liked that much. My brother and my sister like hated him. I didn't hate him. I just thought he was a little blah, a little bland, a little I didn't care. I wasn't crazy about him, but I didn't hate him. They hated him. So before my mom's wedding, we were all there ready for the wedding, getting ready. And like the whole week, my sister and I had both been being like, you don't have to have a wedding. We don't have to do this, right? And the day of my mom's wedding, she was like upset about something that had happened. And me and my sister were, like begging her. I kept telling her, Mommy, I will go out there right now and tell all these people we're still having a party, but we're not having a wedding. Like there's food, there's drinks, but there will be dancing, but there will be no wedding today, right? And she refused, and they got married, and then got divorced. I tried to get her to not go through with it, and I feel like that's what Gwen and Hank both are doing right now. Like it's not too late. Like
it's not.
It's not too late. You can end this at any moment. We don't have to go through with this, but they're going through with it. So
they are going through with it.
It's stupid.
Sadly.
What can you do? Okay, so we're gonna be heading into our fated couples, but before we do you have anything you want to say in our transition in? You have a
Sure. So, like through all of the Shawis storyline, which really is like a main focus, at that point in time where Beth left Sheridan's cottage, she crosses paths with Theresa. And, now that she's married to Ethan, she says, Theresa, I would love to stay and chat, but I have to get back to Ethan, my husband. Ta-ta. And so, she is like really living it up now that it appears that she has won.
It appears. Yeah, what's funny is I did not even see that. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't see. I don't know if it wasn't in the episodes that I watched or if I just blocked it out. If I just ignored it, it was just something in passing. Because I didn't even think Gwen interacted with Theresa this week at all.
Yeah, they had to shoehorn a scene of the two of them at some point, and I think like it was really cool because it's the only that crossing paths that was kind of fun.
I've got to get back to
this
Ethan.
Week.
Hey girl, go on back to your broke ass boyfriend or husband or whatever.
Living in my house. Living in
my house. Great. Okay, so that's the perfect segue into the fated couples. There's very, very, very little here this week. So little. So we're gonna basically blast through this. I will say there's some stuff with Fox. Fox has really infused some energy into this storyline that was much needed.
Yes.
Much needed. We needed him to shake things up a little bit. So I'm grateful to see Nicholas Foxworthy Crane on my screen. So Ethan and Theresa are walking around Crane Industries or whatever, Crane. I don't know if it Crane Corporate. I don't know what it's called. And just talking about work. And Theresa has arranged for the employees to have a New Year's Eve party. She tells Ethan, because there's like decorations up, and he's like, wow, Alistair and Julian would never have done this for the employees. And she says, yeah, no, I figured it would be nice for them to have a nice little celebration just to as a thank you to the employees for New Year's Eve, and then they can go home early and celebrate with their families. I was like, yes, girl, that's what I'm talking about. A friend to the common man. Thank you, Theresa. Honestly, y'all should have New Year's Eve off. You shouldn't even be at work, but a lot of people have to work on New Year's Eve, so
unfortunately,
myself included. So so they're walking around. Ethan tells her, wow, I'm sure that's going to be amazing for the company morale. You're amazing, Theresa. You're a natural at this job. What job? What is her job? But then she tells him,
she's the vibe manager.
That manager of vibes, senior vice president of vibes. I love it. So she then explains to Ethan, because they're headed to her office. She says, oh, we need to go to my office. Fox is my new assistant. So I guess she fired Trish?
I guess.
Jesus, Theresa. I hope Trish is okay. I hope she, I really do. You're going to follow this. You're going to fire this lady at the holidays. I hope Trish is all right. Because now some Nepo baby has her job. So, they go into Theresa's office. Ethan is skeptical about Fox being her assistant. He warns her that she should be careful of Fox, saying that he's never had a real job and he probably just wants an office and an expense account. So then they go into Theresa's office and Fox is there, ready to work. He's gotten Theresa's like schedules done for the day, whatever the tasks that she has given him and assigned him, he has completed. He's gotten the workload printed out for Ethan. It's on his desk, everything. He's on top of things. And this is when Whitney shows up and is introduced to a very flirty Fox. And I was telling Andrew earlier, this unlocked a memory for me because he flirts with Whitney. And he
sure does.
I remember wanting so badly for the two of them to get together. Like, I was rooting for them because at this point, Chad's her brother. Chad is her brother.
Yeah.
I wanted Fox. And you know what? We're gonna have a little conversation here, a little social, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, about interracial relationships in media. And when I was younger, especially in the early 2000s, particularly seeing like a black woman and a white man, it was something you didn't see. Like, you just didn't see it.
No, you didn't.
And I had a couple of little white boys I had crushes on, and it felt like it was wrong. Like, you never saw it. Is something that and like, I don't know about you, but I was in like plays and musicals and stuff in school, and like the black kids would always get paired up together. It was like you would never end up being paired up. I was never getting paired up with a white boy to dance with. I was always, if there was a black boy to be danced with, I was dancing with him or I was dancing by myself. Right. And I don't know. I think in that time, not that obviously I don't think there's anything wrong with interracial relationships. I have been in multiple myself. And of course I love black love. I love love between anybody of any color. I love love. But it was nice to see, and I like rooted for it because it was something that I felt like that was almost like taboo. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, as a brown person, I have seen love in many different varieties, and I've been with a diverse group of people. I don't want that to sound like I'm a hoe, but
we didn't. You know what? Perish the thought. I didn't think you were a hoe at all. I think you. I
self-deprecation is a really funny
maybe you're
thing.
just well versed in love, like many of us. Nothing wrong with that.
But it's always refreshing to see two people with chemistry and not have that be an obstacle. So for me, the moment that you see them and you see how he looks at her, like he's really into Whitney. And like their flirtation is really cute because it's just like Fox as a character is very sly and he's very devious, and like where his story is gonna go in the next couple of weeks is crazy, and it's just like he's really putting his hands into things to really kind of uh, breathe some new life in some of these storylines. But to actually see those two together and kind of the chemistry they have, because it's always I always like when Whitney is flirty and not so serious,
Yeah.
and it's easier to see with not it being her brother,
Yes.
because we ultimately know that's not her brother, but it's like, ew, it's icky because we still have that storyline going. So
It's
when
just
Fox
so
came in,
icky.
it's like, oh, yeah.
Because this is something I can kind of root for more so than Chad and
Yeah.
Whitney. Not that, and the thing is, I always liked Chad and Whitney together too. I want to be clear.
Me too.
I
Yeah.
always liked Chad and Whitney together, and it kind of like was very sad to me that they were like siblings, and it was like, oh, this is
Same.
awful. What an awful thing to do to these kids on this show. But I don't know, man. Fox comes in, he's so slick, he's handsome, he flirts with her in a very different way than Chad ever did, right?
Yes.
He's just so suave, and he's different. He's very different for Whitney. She's so buttoned up, and Chad is very truthfully very straight-laced as well, right?
Yeah.
And Fox isn't like that. And so it's I don't know, I love to see them. I wanted them together, and I had forgotten about that. I had completely forgotten about that until I saw them together. I was like, oh yeah, I loved Fox and Whitney. Like, I wanted them together so bad. But anyway, he flirts with her and sees that she's in a tennis outfit. They strike up a conversation about tennis. He says, maybe we should play together sometime. He asks if she's any good. Theresa, the good girlfriend that she is like, are you serious? She's one of the greatest in the world. Like, she's on her way to the Grand Slam. And he asks about if she has a boyfriend, I think. And I guess Whitney shoots Theresa a look like, no, don't say it. So Theresa says, no, she doesn't have a boyfriend. And at first I was confused, but later on, Theresa says to Whitney, why didn't you want me to tell Fox that you had a boyfriend? And she explains that she just, the fewer people know about her and Chad, the better, basically. So, yeah. So Fox thinks that she's available. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
That's just gonna be fun. It's just gonna be good, wholesome Christian fun. I can't wait.
And this is also just to say, like, when it comes to friendships, we really get to see their friendship at play here, and it's really nice to see something that Theresa is doing outside of Ethan Gwen situation.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Theresa then encourages Whitney. I think, what's his name? Fox goes off to do something else with his job, right? And so Theresa tells Whitney, like, oh, you should definitely go play tennis with Fox. He seems like a really nice guy. Ethan chimes in and says, Theresa, don't be fooled by his oily charm, okay? He's on his best behavior now. Don't fall for it. Fox is trouble. He always has been. And Theresa says, don't worry, Ethan. I'll be careful. I think he's really very sweet, and I can handle him. Ethan leaves. Later on, Theresa tells Whitney she's planning to use Fox to make Ethan jealous. She's like, Kevin, did you see how jealous Ethan gets every time Fox even looks at me? She's like, I'm going to use this to my advantage. And Whitney tells her, that's wrong. Ethan is married. Why are you still trying to break up Gwen and Ethan? And Theresa says, well, it's not. Oh, I loved this. Theresa says, it's not my fault that Ethan lied to Father Lonigan when he told him that he loved Gwen more than me. You watch, Whitney. Ethan still loves me, and I am going to get him back. Oh, I don't know. This is my girl. She's my lovable lunatic. I love that. She's crazy.
I think what is even crazier is she clocked it, because if as you're watching it, you're like, he's not jealous. He's married to Gwen. No, he's jealous.
He's very obviously jealous, and Gwen has clocked it too. I guess y'all haven't seen the podcast of that yet, but last week on the podcast we talked about how Gwen was upset because Ethan was clearly jealous of Fox.
Yeah.
And she clocked that and was like, what's going on? Do you want to be with Theresa? And he deflected, right?
Yeah.
And so meanwhile, Ethan has a conversation with Fox and warns him to stay away from Theresa. ... and Whitney. He says they're nice girls, and I do have this clip since it was all we had this is all we have this week of this group of people.
Yeah, they had to give us a rest from the last week.
Yeah, they did. We have to give it some space from everything that's happened. We have to give it some time, some space. Because it wouldn't make sense for Theresa, even though it is exactly what happens, for Theresa to go from just complete and utter despair to like, oh nope, I'm up and I'm gonna be fine and I'm gonna get Ethan back. Like, it makes more sense that there's some space there, but there isn't. They're just not showing it to us, right?
Nope.
Okay, so let's see it.
I mean, I can tell by how protective he gets when Fox is around.
Maybe it's because he knows his brother. Maybe he knows that Fox is a womanizer or a user or something.
Whatever, Whitney. I'm going to use that to get Ethan back.
You know, I really can't believe that you are actually starting out the new year without learning anything from all of your past mistakes.
I am starting out the new year more determined to get Ethan back than ever.
You're setting yourself up to get hurt again. So, what's this Fox guy's story anyway?
Apparently, he's like the bad boy in the family.
In that family. Now, don't you think that's saying something, Theresa?
Oh, please. He's like harmless. But as long as Ethan thinks he's a danger to me, well, see, that's better for me.
Maybe you should listen to Ethan, Theresa. I mean, they have the same mother. Ethan's known him his whole life. I'm sure he knows Fox well enough to have good reason to be worried about you. You're setting yourself up to get hurt really badly, Theresa.
I'm not worried.
How interesting, Ethan, that you've taken it upon yourself to become Theresa's protector.
I know you, Fox. And I don't want to see you treating Theresa the way that you've treated all the other women in your life.
I'm working for her. That's all. But you know, you'd better not let your new wife see this side of you. I mean, she may begin to realize that your feelings for Theresa are much more than just friendship.
Not at all. I just don't want to see her hurt. Or Whitney, for that matter.
Well, it's too late to throw Whitney in the mix. You can lie to yourself, Ethan. I'm not buying it. You're still in love with Theresa.
No, Fox, I'm not.
Like I said, Ethan, you can lie to yourself if you like. But I know I'm right. However, last time I checked, you married someone else, which makes Theresa fair game. And being that I'm the only true Crane here, it's my birthright to go after whatever I want.
Are you saying that you want Theresa?
Maybe I want Theresa and maybe I don't. I haven't decided yet.
Ooh, I love him. I love him. I love him. I don't care what Fox does going forward. I love him.
Fox is such a great character too. Like, so yeah.
I love him. I mean, I love the way he sticks it to Ethan. And I've been saying for a long time now how awful Ethan is. And he needs this. Somebody needs to knock him down pegs, really. And yeah, I like Fox. I like that he's about to infuse this storyline with something new, something more interesting than what we've been doing for the last damn near 1,000 episodes, right? It's so good to see. It's just so nice. And he is a real true rival for Ethan, a truly a good rival for Ethan. So that's all I have for this week for them. You have anything to add before we say goodbye?
Just that, like, the choice in how he plays Fox, he really chews up the scene when he's in it. So it's always really fun to have Fox, especially as he interacts with his brother. It's such a cool and fun dynamic that I
And
can't wait for like what's to come.
Yeah, and he's so good looking. I mean, you can't understate him and Ethan both are at this point are such handsome actors. Like those two actors are so handsome. So when they're in scenes together, it's like that little heat between them also kind of turns me on a little. You know, like I just love it.
Yeah,
I just love it. So yeah. So that is it for part 1, everybody. Andrew, thank you. You have been so wonderful, so great. How was it for your first time? For your first half of your
I had
first
a lot
time?
of fun. I had a lot of fun. This has been a lot of fun so far, and it's so interesting to go from having a bunch of friends in my head that I get to enjoy this silly show with to actually sharing my opinions on what has been a very wild week. So
It has. You got a good week. I mean, a
I
good and
really
a bad
did.
week, but you got a good week. So, this was wonderful. We're gonna stay on. We'll be back for part 2, everybody. But for now, Andrew, where can the people find you? If you want people to find you, do you want to share your socials?
I mean, I'm on the Discord. I don't do a lot of social media, but I'm on the Discord, Darkcaster, since I'm a huge gamer. That's my name. Please join. It's so much fun. We have such a blast discussing the show.
Yes, please join the Patreon. We do have a good time, and I have some more watch parties. I need to put that schedule out today. Well, it probably won't happen today, but I will put the schedule out
soon.
By the time this comes out, the schedule will have been out. So yeah, please, you can also find me on the Discord. You can find me on Patreon, patreon.com/passionspodcast. Sign up for whatever tier you find most agreeable. And with that, you are my passion for life. Yay. We did it, part 1.